Welcome, welcome, welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. I'm Liverpool 12th Man, and I know that today is a somewhat somber day in that, it's, excuse me, that it's, no more Prem football. The only thing we have to look forward to is a FA Cup final to watch, and regarding Premier teams. And even that is undoubtedly something that no one wants to see. The likelihood of either City adding to their haul or either United backing into a FA Cup win. Nobody wants to see that actually at all. Either direction. But I am joined today by the Irishman. I appreciate you guys joining us today, but the Irishman's with me live here, so I wanted to make sure I say hello. And how are you doing? How you doing, Irishman?
Well. I'm doing well. Yeah, doing well.
Doing well. So how are you feeling? Is it like the day after kind of concept? How are you feeling with the fact that it's the first day since really the first real day, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's like the cleaning up after the party and all of that sort of scenario. So it's going to be a strange couple of weeks. Yeah, very very strange couple of weeks. Everything is going to be everything's going to be brand new. But this is the reality. He wasn't lying when he said it. He's really gone. So the club would have been a very, very unusual place today, I'd imagine. Would have been very strange around Melwood and Anfield. A lot of people not really kind of sure what to do. So they'll go away and they'll have a little break and everyone get used to it and think about it and come back and be ready to meet the new man. They'll all come back at different stages and just ready to go again. But yeah, all we want now really is, I suppose, we just want some football to take your mind off it, because they kind of you just want to not dwell on it too much and just get the new thing started.
Let's get to moving on to to the future. I guess get moving to the future, which is what kind of what we're progressing towards, majorly progressing towards.
I'm sure he'll show up pretty soon.
There's a lot also
around. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure that there will be. No worries. I'm sure that there will be a period where we get to see see him back, or there's going to be. But for right now, I think it's the best is that he's going to give a lot of space and allow for Slot to really get into gear. It's kind of interesting what you're saying also about how Slot has really Slot is determined to somewhat hit the ground running, I guess you could say, in the fact of he's going to be calling he's going to be calling everyone back a week early, I believe he said, or something along those lines. Yeah. So kind of he's like, enjoy your quick little, I guess, quote unquote vacation, and then make sure that you have your bags packed to get back to work a week early.
Yeah, after Euros, there's an Olympics this year that older players can get called up for as well, or younger players under 23s.
Yes,
there's a couple of big competitions on this year, so
yes,
he's going to have a very short turnaround. With, you'd imagine, most of our players. I think there's another tournament on, isn't there? A lot of our players, anyway, being involved in
Copa America.
Yeah, Copa. So it's not going to be easy. He's not going to have a nice free summer to go off on a training camp. He's going to be sitting there waiting. Oh, okay, he's in the semi-final. It's going to be another week before he gets back. All right, now he's in the final. It's going to be another 5 days before he gets back. This kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there was interesting.
Offline. Sorry, that's what I was saying offline about Harvey Elliott. I'm just glad he has the summer off. None of this nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. Yeah, Harvey Elliott. We were speaking backstage about how Harvey Elliott didn't get selected once again to the senior England squad. There was even one of a good guy and a friend of the show and friend of mine, Nur Beats, put out a tweet and he was asking, basically retweeted this about asking if do you think Trent deserves to start possibly for England? And it's a question of, I mean, like, I obviously think that Trent is the best right back in the world, but Southgate doesn't necessarily incorporate him as such. And often, despite the fact that he does look very kindly onto his BFF, one of his BFFs, Jude, Trent isn't exactly slated in or slotted into it. So, yeah, Walker will play. I know he will play. I don't necessarily agree with it, but he will play ahead of him, which is sad.
Trent, yeah.
Yeah. But
did you know he brought him as a he's included in the squad in the midfielders category. He's not listed.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that.
So
yeah, I was about to ask that.
He will use Walker, and he'll just he'll have to use probably Rice, Wharton, and Bellingham in midfield, and then he'll have to have Foden, he'll have to have Saka. So it'll be Trent off the bench for Southgate. He just doesn't use him. Yeah, you probably might start them if they're already qualified and they have a game, like they've one game left and they're already qualified. You might start them in that game. But yeah, Southgate doesn't. I know, does he rate, just international management is different. You have, it's a shorter period of time, but whether he rates him, I just don't think he has the tactical kind of know-how to build a team to get Trent into it, and he just goes with the obvious safer options that he can just go, you go there, you go there, you go there, you go there, and I can bring Trent on. He just probably sees him as too much of a project, I think. But again, for me, all the better. The less minutes our boys get their legs in these stupid England matches, the better. I don't want them out there playing, they always come back injured for me. But anyway, so.
Yeah, very true.
Let the Man City boys and the Arsenal boys get injured out there.
Yeah, very true. No need to do what you need to do with overplaying these players. And I get the Euros a little bit different story. I get it. Euros is a tournament and everything else. But I mean, ever since the pandemic and ever since the rearranging of the World Cup and everything else, it's just something where you have to figure out the best way of moving forward with the club. Because so often you can get burnt. You don't want to burn out players before even start. That's the key thing.
No, most important to me is get his contract signed and sealed before he goes there.
Yeah. I just saw something from Honesty. I'm gonna look that up before I try to put that announcement in there. Because do you see what Honesty's saying about Poch?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was reading the bottom one about the Benfica.
I'd have to double check.
I was reading the last one about the Benfica guy. I didn't see the Poch one.
Yeah, the Poch one. Have you heard that news?
What to say? What's
Not
the
hear
news?
anything about that?
What news?
So
I don't
basically,
know
he's
what. I
saying
don't
Matt Mercutio Pochettino left Chelsea on mutual consent.
Oh, he's gone. Yeah,
They,
yeah, he's gone. Yeah, someone just texted me there. He's gone. Yeah.
wow. Okay,
No,
that's
and I
very
mean,
interesting.
someone did never text me about football, random stuff. Just text me saying Poch is gone. So obviously it's out there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's really out there. So now,
I
who
mean,
do they go with now?
uh, I mean, they've just added now to the. I did like the managerial merry-go around now of people looking for managers, but Poch is now out on the market. You've got two managers out there now, that De Zerbi and Pochettino. Um, it's Chelsea. The idea that they've sacked him, never a surprise. They could sack anybody, but I saw green shoots there. I thought he had, as much as I don't like giving them any praise, he was clearly getting a better tune out towards the end of the season.
Right.
So yeah, I'm a little bit shocked, but yeah, that's Chelsea adding another 15 million quid onto the sacking the manager wage bill.
I mean, does the Zerbi maybe hop into mind? Maybe.
For the Chelsea job, it'd be a nice and
Yeah.
easy switch. Yeah, it would be a nice, easy switch.
You
I
know.
could very much see it. Yeah, he's. Oh, don't, Darrell. Don't be. You're not. You can't be serious with that. Man. You can't be serious with that.
I saw it. Yeah, Trap Joe's comment.
Any company getting the Bayern job would be absolutely insane. Absolutely crazy.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know if I don't know if Potch would go to Brighton, but I mean, if you wanted to bring a club that has players that are hardworking or good players, really promising and certainly talented players, not players that are really like wrapped up into their egos and fighting over
Yeah.
penalty kicks and and like stuff like that. Like chances are Brighton would be a good choice, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think they're a bit too small for him.
I think they are a
This,
bit too small. I agree with that too.
this just shows you, people are saying we've been saying this for months now, that there's no managers out there that are the big name proven guys that everybody wants. And you've got
Mhm.
like, how much more proof of this do you need than company going to Bayern if that happens? Arnie
Mhm.
Slot will be like, some people say Bayern are just as big as Liverpool. They've as many they've more league titles than us in their country, and they've more league cup or more European cups. And they're going with a guy like Vinny Company. And why aren't they going out and getting a big name manager if one is out there? Because there ain't one out there. But
Mhm.
that would shock me now. Company getting the Bayern job, because all this stuff, Tuchel doing a U-turn and then doing another U-turn, then doing another U-turn.
Yep.
Apparently Xavi had changed his mind. Now he's not guaranteed to have changed his mind. He has to have a meeting with Laporta to see what happens. So that job isn't. He's. I mean, it's crazy what's going on with managers this year. It's completely
Yeah.
crazy what's going on. It's almost
Yeah.
unprecedented.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a quote by Cole Palmer to Poch. He says, "All credit to the manager. All the players love the manager and want to fight for him." That's via BBC Sport. Um, it's one of those things where you're just like, man, this this period like you just said, that the league is going through, and football in general, because obviously Bayern Munich is still somewhat in the hunt for a new manager. There's still like the uncertainty of what's going to go on at Barcelona. Um, there's certainly some possible changes at in France, not in France, excuse me, in Italy. So at some of the bigger clubs. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, say what you will. I'm glad that despite the fact that we weren't expecting to have to go through a coaching change, the sheer fact that we have gone through it, that we've gotten this handled, taken care of, going through the process of at least entertaining some of the bigger names on the list, I would say, and but choosing one that I think is certainly a well-regarded name to take over, one of the promising and up-and-coming names on the list to take over and get this kind of like behind us and not be one of those teams that are trying to like figure out who is right to take over the reins. You got to give credit to where credit's due. So I'm happy that we're not in the same pot with all the rest of these clubs still looking for it. And I am surprised to hear about the Poch news, to be honest with you, because I thought Poch easily deserves another year. Not only that, I mean, I said it yesterday. I think Chelsea, towards the end, finally started to look like a team that was getting it, was getting his system, was getting how to play together, was getting what it was that Poch literally wanted from the club, and they were starting to get results. So that's pretty sad.
The more I think about it, I think I think I understand why they sacked him. Not that I mean I have understanding for it, but I think I gather why they did it. I think they shouldn't have. I don't think they should have done it, but I think basically to them, the investments and no Champions League money, there's someone has to pay, someone has to go for that. Basically, I think is the way they run that. It's just not, the share price is going to like. There's that.
But they're going to pay though. They're still going to pay.
Oh yeah, but there's that famous quote from Ed Woodward was when he was at a conference, and someone asked him. He didn't think he wasn't being interviewed. He was at kind of a business conference thing, and someone asked him for. I can't remember who was. I think it was Moyes maybe. Moyes is there, and someone said like blah 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 Moyes, for what about Ferguson? He said like, so what would it take, if you lost against this team, he said, what would it take for the manager to get sacked? And he said the manager will only get sacked if the share price goes down. So that's literally the bottom line. Like that's how Man United were operating. He said, look, because the way they looked at it, if the share price was going up, that meant the club was doing well, so no need to sack a manager because it creates uncertainty in the market. Your share price goes down even further. But the way they look at it was just like they were running it like that. So I think Chelsea looked at it on a bottom line. Your job is to get us into the Champions League. We've lost money, share price going down because we're not in the Champions League, yada, yada, yada. You pay. It's not what I would want. I mean, the guy to me was clearly, I think young players like playing for him, and they have a lot of young players there. He made sense to me as a Chelsea manager. He kind of fitted Chelsea a bit. So they'll just go and get someone else in now, and they'll sack him after 8 months. But I don't think it does your reputation too much damage being sacked by Chelsea, really, does it? I think everyone's been sacked by them. So he'll be fine. He'll get another good job.
Yeah, most likely he'll get another job somewhere. I mean, like there's a lot of jobs available. Again, like I said, there's some really big name jobs out there that still have you still have some availability as a big time manager to go on and take. There was, let me think. Let me show this one first. I have a couple of these open here. I'll show this one first. So, and I'll make it bigger so that you guys can see it. I know it's a little small on the screen there. Oops, I'm not gonna for some reason show it that big. Basically, this says Arne Slot. This is according to Paul Joyce. Arne Slot has agreed to a 3-year deal as new Liverpool head coach. One of his tasks will be to improve Darwin Nunez, who Liverpool are coming, or who Liverpool are continuing to back. I brought this quote up or this picture up primarily because I don't know what Paul Joyce's like angle has been lately. He's definitely been, dropping some interesting tweets and definitely been wording them kind of very interesting. The reason why I say it's interesting for this is because, let's be honest, like Arne Slot is here to improve everyone, not just one player individually. So it's kind of interesting that Paul Joyce decided to, especially with all the he's not clapping, or he's pushing, he's engaged, he's pushing, he's like really having a good time and being engaged with Jurgen at the like all these body language experts apparently, all these makeshift body language experts out there. And it's just interesting that he chose, Darwin Nunez as the target to talk about as being as if Arne Slot's main concept of being brought in is because he's here to correct or to improve Nunez. I'm like, yeah, he absolutely is here to improve Nunez, but he's here to improve Dominic Szoboszlai. He's here to improve, McAllister. He's here to improve Cody. He's here to, like, what player is he not here to improve? If he gets anything out, if he improves Diaz, maybe he turns Diaz into this clinical goal scorer, and that's something else I wanted to talk about too. It was a very interesting chat that I had or was a part of.
Special teams coach.
Big up Cedric. Big up Bernie, Daz, Revenite, Honesty, all joining the chat. Thank you guys for joining. What were you saying, Brian?
Yeah, and he's not a special teams coach, just brought in to train the kickers. He's brought in to coach everybody. Yeah, you get this stuff every single time. I mean, I've heard this stuff so many times now that you can see it coming. It's like, oh, this guy has a great track record of improving players. It's like, well, yeah, I reckon he does. That's why he's just got the Liverpool. I mean, it's just like saying, oh, we just hired this new chef to run our 5-star restaurant. Geez, and he's really good at making soup. This guy makes brilliant sandwiches. So, well, yeah. You'd imagine he does. I mean, what are you talking about here? Oh, this guy, he has a track record of doing well as a manager. Yeah, that's why he's got the bloody Liverpool job. Yeah, this kind of stuff like, one of his tasks will be to improve Darwin Nunez. Like, come on, Paul. Honestly, man, that's just the most inane sentence of all time. Like you said, what was he going to do? Come in and put Darwin in a box and leave him in the training room, in the dressing room every day, and not
It's kind of like,
what the hell? If the opposite is more interesting, then you don't have a story. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if Arne Slot had come out and said, "I cannot improve Darwin Nunez. I cannot work with that player. It is impossible." That's a story.
That's a story. That's a story.
Slot comes in and, oh, I can work with Darwin Nunez. Yeah, he's a fucking 65 million pound striker, and you're a manager. Of course you bloody can. Paul, man, this is what you get for the summer, man. This is what you're going to get for the summer. Yeah, Slot thinks Salah is a great footballer. Okay, problem solved. It's so much nonsense. Like, but I think, look, the guy is trying to say, I think what we're dealing with here is a club, not club propaganda, but a bit of a club briefing that basically the dude's not for sale. So he's staying. Slot is coming. This to me is all designed to kind of head off any talk of us wanting to sell him. Really, it's just no. The coach is happy, wants to come in, wants to work with him, happy to work with him. Definitely thinks he can improve him. So throwing a bit of shade on Klopp. Klopp couldn't improve him. No, okay, nice one. But you know what I'm saying? It's like okay, coming in. Of course he's going to say this. He's going to come in, and it's his. This is the squad that he has. He can add to it. And if you tell him, like everyone's saying, he plays a very similar way to Jurgen Klopp. So it's not like he's going to have a radical new system. Do you know what I'm saying for Darwin?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. He plays similar-ish to Klopp, so it's not like he's going to be playing in a 4-2-2, and all of a sudden it's going to be whatever. I think he's going to be playing a similar-ish enough role. Like, does anyone know
Similar-ish.
who plays that kind of role? Who plays number 9 for Feyenoord? Who's their main man up front? And do they play like with a number 9 or a false? I don't really know. So people in the chat will probably know.
Right. That's a good question. I'd have to look that up personally. Yeah, it's one of those just as the chat saying too. It's like one of those questions of like, no SHIT Sherlock type concept. Like it's like, all right, like can that be more of a like a just like useless comment? Like one of the tasks? Like of course it's one of the tasks. He's got a lot of tasks. Thanks for that. Like, and make sure to pin that to my timeline. So
put that on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. So Mexico striker Jimenez, he's a killer striker. Okay.
Yes,
would he be similar to Darwin? Is he a sort of profile to Darwin, or is he?
I wouldn't say that because he doesn't really. I'm trying to think of how much like he's not like necessarily like the biggest name star. I would say I don't know if he's the biggest name star for Mexico. I have to but I don't know. Mexico's going through some transitions right now with their squad. To be honest, with their coach,
Hernandez, Marquez, they've all gone now. All the big name guys.
Okay. Oh, big up, Brian. Brian, send if you can reach out to Lee. Lee's in the house.
What's that? What are you saying to me?
He says if you could send the link to appear.
Oh,
Lee.
Oh, sorry. I was looking away. Oh, Lee. All right. So he's gone and changed his name again. I didn't notice when I thought. Yeah. Hang on. Okay. Yes, I will do that. Yeah, I know I can do that now. I'll do that now, Lee.
Big up, Lee. There's this one too. Now there's this. This is kind of interesting. I wanted to see you guys' reaction to this one in the chat. Being that it's not obviously a Liverpool related comment, but this was on now.afc, which is basically some Arsenal fan or Arsenal channel, but all the same. It says Rodri, excuse me, Rodri, quote, the difference between us and Arsenal was the mentality. When Arsenal came to the Etihad, they didn't want to win. They wanted a draw. We wouldn't do that. Arsenal 1-0. Manchester City. Manchester City failed to register a shot at the Emirates after the 35th minute. I think there are moments during the season, and certainly some games that you go through, where you can say that was a game-changing or a monumental season game or something. I guess I'm trying to think the best way to put it, as in it is a game that not only highlights but basically documents what and where you are with your progression of trying to obtain success. And let's be honest with you, my mentality is this: if you are a big club and you're going for the title, the most important games. Now I get it. The games, people will say, "Oh, well, we drew too many times against this team, or we did this against this lower table team, or something along those lines." Of course, you want to win all your games. That's like a Paul Joyce comment, basically. But the most important games to me are the teams that you will be competing for the title with. And if you see yourself having to compete against Arsenal, or you see yourself having to compete against City, especially with our case, with City especially, those are the games you have to win. You have to win it. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. You have to win those games. And you got it. You have to win them because you're going. It's an opportunity for you not only to get 3 points, it's an opportunity for you to progress 3 points further away from your competition. Like you getting draws or losses or whatever with the other teams is all well and good, but the opportunity to take point, not only take points, but to gain points from your closest opposition, in my opinion, is the most important games that you have to make. You have to make count. And Raji was saying that the difference between, again, his quote was, the difference between them and Arsenal was the mentality. When Arsenal came to the Etihad, they didn't want to win. They wanted to draw. And City wouldn't do that. City goes to the Emirates thinking they want to win. They don't go to the Emirates thinking we'll settle for a draw. Arsenal did. Do you think that was a difference maker? Do you think Roger was correct in that assessment, Brian?
If he is correct, he is correct. And Lee, I have sent that. Let me know if you got it, or let me know if you didn't get it, because I have sent it. If Arsenal did do that, then yeah, I think maybe they left themselves short. It is the difference maker, I suppose. If Arsenal decided that was what they were going to do, you can't really do that. A game is there to be played, and
right.
If you're 2-2 with a few minutes to go and you've been under the cosh, okay, you can see, but you can't go looking at it and picking, right, we take a point here, we take a point there. It's not really going to work for you. And the opportunity to lay down a psychological marker, a psychological blow, and use that as a marker against them. We always tried that. We never played City for a draw. We always went to try. That time when we did beat them 4-3, when Chamberlain scored against them, the fans knew it. It was the first when we beat them the first time. I was like, this is a bit different. So like you may not win the league. No one's saying it's going to win the league, but to do it, it puts a doubt in their mind. It puts something in their mind. To me, it's vital. If you have a chance to go out and beat them, you go and take it. Even if they win the league, if you going out and beating them, I think that's the most important thing you can do. We took huge kind of confidence from beating City. Even though we didn't go on to do so, we took just by being able to say on our day, not only are we just as good as them, on our day we can beat them because they were strong. It wasn't half injured, and that gives you so much confidence. Because if you can beat them, well, you can beat everyone else.
Yes. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is the answer. I'm going to double check, but can you name the last winning goalkeeper for us to beat City when we beat last goalkeeper to beat City? Or Liverpool?
Wait.
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna double check on this as well.
So, who was playing in goal for Liverpool the last
time we beat Manchester City
in the league
at Etihad, at the Etihad? Yes, in the league.
At the Etihad.
Yes.
Not at Anfield, specifically
because we've beaten City at Anfield, and obviously City has beaten us at the Etihad, but we got a handful of draws here or there, obviously, but
Miggy,
who was it?
Was it Miggy? Was it Mignolet?
No, I believe it was. I want to say it was Adrian.
Oh, was that? Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, fair play.
I thought maybe that people would get that because of that, because of the weirdness of the question. But We've got a guest with us, someone that's a friend of the channel, obviously part of the family here. Live and direct from Anfield, or that's from
cool.
Anfield, from Liverpool. Yeah, he's got his own box at Anfield, basically. That's why I went into the tunnel to make sure that he was ready and rocking. But we're bringing him in. How you doing, Lee? How are you doing? Oh,
You're on mute.
for some, your mic.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I don't know if you're on mute. It doesn't just seem like you're on mute, but
Certainly sounds like he's on mute.
yeah, definitely. For some reason the mic's not on.
Just give it a bit of a kick there, Lee.
Yeah, give it a kick or a punch or something. Give it a little knock there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the COVID season, Daryl. That's right. It was the COVID season that Adrian won that game. Or excuse me, not the COVID season. Since we're not allowed to say that word. The pandemic season, excuse me. Pandemic season. Did you get it? Did you get it working? You wanna? How about this, Lee? Hop out and then hop back in. Because for some reason, it's not. It's not. The microphone's not on.
You're making a lot of sense, Paulie. You're making a lot of sense.
What was that?
I can.
Lip read. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, you know what? This is funny because like this is another Paul Joyce. I just saw. It's kind of a useless comment. It says Kanate and Szoboszlai are among the other first team players who have room for improvement after also ending the season with their minutes restricted. Paul Joyce. Oh. Like, come on, Paul. You can do better than that. You can do better than that.
You know,
thank you for that lightning assessment.
The 7-year-olds out there could like.
That's just a silly comment. What's the point of it?
If you just want to come out and say they're not for sale, come out and say they're not for sale.
Exactly.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you go. Yes. Hey.
Hello, everybody. Hello. So we all ready for the Arnie slot here, are we then? We're going to give him our full support, aren't we? He's our main man now, isn't he? We've got to get behind him. I was a bit underwhelmed when it happened, because like any fan, we're like children, aren't we, men, over things like football. It's like on your wish list of who you can have and that, and what manager we could have. But, a lot of people are disappointed, but we'll give him our support. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? I think it's a silly, if not childish, take to do when I get it. You don't get maybe the coach that you wanted or the player that you wanted, but that's beside the point. Right now, this coach or that player is a red, and rooting against him to make your point stand better makes it not benefit anyone. If anything, it makes the team suffer. So if you weren't not many of us had Slot on our radar as being the next coach. Let's just be honest, right? But now that he is, I'm all on board. I'm all like, hey, I want to see Slot turn up, I want to see him do well, obviously.
Once you look at what he has done in Holland, it is quite impressive, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Feyenoord do have their periods where they have half-decent teams, but they've largely been playing second fiddle to the other two for a long time. So for him to step in and do what he did was it was quite impressive.
Yeah. Oh man. There was big up to Nolante, by the way. Big up to Robbie in the chat. That was funny. He says he's happy Arsenal didn't win the league at least. It's kind of sad when we're at a place where you got to kind of pick and choose which two of the teams that you want to you'd be less sad to see or
I've always been quite neutral with Arsenal. I've never had any hate for them, and there's no great love for them, but I've never had an issue with Arsenal. Chelsea, yes. Out of the London teams, it's Chelsea. And I always had a liking for Tottenham as a kid when I was growing up because of the players they had. They had exciting players and played a quite exciting style. And it's Chelsea that I detest from London. Like, it's the club I detest because of the way their fans behave. Like, they're idiots, a lot of them. I mean, you can say that about some of our fans, but percentage-wise, there are a lot of dickheads supporting Chelsea.
Yeah, Brian, I think is right with you. Whenever he speaks, he can speak for himself.
Yeah, they always top the poll. There's very little real, genuine rivalry between Arsenal and Liverpool on the streets. You know, online, a lot of it's been cooked up because of the recent, we're back and now Liverpool are, as the year time is done, we're the ones who are going to challenge City. Oh, that's kind of online. Like Lee is saying, going back in the day, they were seen as a kind of a classy club. They had good players. We met them a few times in cup finals. They never really annoyed us much in the league until they went and really annoyed us in Anfield. But they're never our biggest rivals. Yeah, it was always kind of a good.
Yeah, they were always a rival on a tough game, weren't they? They were always a rival on a tough game.
No hate.
I never developed the antipathy towards their fan base over the years. There was never anything from them that I thought, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, half the time it was just spite because we were better, you know what I mean? And that's the way it was. But I love Wenger outside of London and the Arsenal fan base. I was probably Wenger's biggest fan outside bloody Highbury because, I wanted him to beat Man United to as many trophies as he could. That was that horrible period for us. Yeah, most of it, the beginning of it, like when we couldn't win, and Arsenal were depriving Man United of titles, and I was all on. But it was such a great team as well, wasn't it? Perez, Henry, Vieira, Pate, Overmars, Lundberg, Parler, whoever, like goals. It was such a great team, wasn't it? So when they were taking things off Man United, it was made up.
Yeah, Bergkamp, the best of the lot of them. Really, apart from Henry, Bergkamp, you couldn't. That's why I always appreciated them. But it's a newer kind of edginess. I wouldn't even call it a rivalry. It doesn't kick off between us and them. But it's just they're a good team with strong players. Apart from that time there for a while. But if you had to see one of them win it, I said City because to me, they're all irrelevant. Everything City does doesn't really count. It's all irrelevant. So I don't count them. Whereas with Arsenal, you kind of have to give it to them. They haven't stopped on about that Invincibles thing for about 25 years now, or however long it is. Yeah. If they won a title, they do get a bit uppity. But again, that's only because I'm online and they're online. Like I said, on the streets, like Lee said, there's no hatred there between Liverpool and Arsenal fans. They get along fairly well. And he's right. You're right too. What I said about Tottenham, always like Tottenham because they always had players, and it's like they cared more about playing good football than actually winning things, which is pretty obvious. But they always had great players: Chris Waddle, Ginola, Glenn Hoddle,
Gascoigne,
great.
But even before that, they had like Ozzy Ardiles, Ricky Villa. And good ones. Hoddle was playing with them. That was when I was really small, but I was still into footy and I had the sticker albums and everything. That was like the early 80s. That would have been like 81, 82, something like that. Them sticker albums, and God, I've gone off on a tangent, haven't I? There about football sticker albums.
Well, Chelsea, I think you have to go far to find someone who doesn't have them at number one most. After when you get to the London clubs outside the obvious, Chelsea is number one. With the worst fans in the world, the worst fans in England, without a doubt.
The thing with Chelsea is they've only had a short time to gain that reputation in my own mentality as the most loathsome fan base. They've only been on the scene since, was it 2003 or something when they got bought? Before that, they were up and down between the second division and the first division, or what would be the championship now. They were never in the Premiership first division for that long without being relegated when I was a kid. They were poo. They had some good players, but they just weren't a big club. And then since Abramovich bought them, their fans just went. And I get it, out of nowhere to get all that success, you'd be a bit boastful and braggadocious, but their fans just take it to another level with the obnoxiousness and the silliness that they go on about. Like you say,
yeah, they definitely go to another level. I do have some news that is concerning. This is concerning. Now, I don't have a actual I don't have a picture for it, but let me take this down real quick, and I'll just put this information up. So this is some information that's out there. According to claims from Alexi McAllister's home country, he has a £60 million release clause that could be triggered by Real Madrid. But Real are expected to hold fire until the summer of 2025 before triggering that release clause. Are you concerned if there is a release clause? I don't, and especially if it's a release clause as low as £60 million for McAllister. Would you be concerned seeing that news? You want to take that? You want to have it?
If it was true, I'd be concerned. But I think it might be a bit of paper nonsense, like to unsettle them, or it might just be a black story that come out of nowhere. You hear a lot of this now, don't you? Like about you hear so many players are linked with Real Madrid. I mean, how many teams do they want? Yes, it could be true, but I'm hoping it's not. Like,
right? Because it's not. Because let me. Because I see Daryl says that was last season. Don't believe it. That was Brighton. At Brighton, his release clause was 35 million, I believe, or something around there. So
35.
Okay. So so 60 million is certainly a much more, distinct number, definitive number, and it would kind of make sense if his release clause was 35 million to somewhat double his demands of having maybe a release clause of double that would be somewhat on par, but I don't know. I don't think so. Trap Joe's got a point. He says he doesn't think that Real Madrid even needs McAllister. What are your thoughts, Brian?
Well, that would be besides the point, or beside the point. It's too low. That sounds too low for me. I know Schmaka was there. Ward was there. Sorry, I think it's too low. I know Schmaka was there. It wasn't an Edwards Ward deal, but bringing in a player like him, a World Cup winner, although we didn't, he was going to be on a free in the summer, so he did Brighton a favour. So that's a low release clause for them. I can't see us putting one in that low, and I can't imagine an agent will want a release clause like that, because that's much more appealing to a PSG or a Real Madrid. But I'd be very surprised if he got suckered into or got bullied into putting one in that low. He's a 75-80 million release clause player for me. I think this story is basically saying, if you just everyone's kind of like ignore that bit, then I just think what they're saying is Real Madrid want to buy him next season. Well, Real Madrid can want to do a lot of things next season. We could sit him down and we can renegotiate that contract. And between now and next season, that contract, that release clause can be different. So this is, again, I said, a lot of times these stories don't ever come when you're sitting in front of the LFC TV cameras at Melwood. They come when they go. They come from, like you said, they come from Argentina. A guy from Real Madrid rings up an Argentinian journalist. Put this out for me, will you? Boom, there you go. It started early. It's already started early.
I tell you the truth, I could see this, by the way. Though. I mean, I see Barcelona a bigger chance than Real Madrid, to be honest with you. I think Barcelona, he would fit more so into their frame of structure with Gavi and Pedri. Imagine having those 3 plus or those 2 plus Macca. That would be intimidating. But I'm happy where he's at, to be honest with you.
You've got Modric, or you've got Kroos retiring today. Kroos announcing his retirement, so you know that's a space
That's
that
very
can
true.
be filled.
That's true.
And then you've got Modric, I think, announcing that he was going to stay. So you could say, right, Kroos out. They're probably long-term planning a replacement for Modric next season. So you put two and two together, you get Alexis McAllister. But look, if it's a good sign. If Real Madrid want to buy your players, it's not because they're shit. Yeah.
Right.
You know, so this is going to happen. This is going to happen when you get good players in the door and they start showing how good they are. And especially if they're not, you know, they're not English, or, you know, especially if they're Brazilian, South American. These rumors are, well, Real fancy a bit of him, Barcelona fancy a bit of him. So yeah, that's what happens. That's when your players start knocking it out of the park. These rumors are going to come around. So we have to get back on the ball here. Like we used to be able, you know, like you're talking about getting the slot deal done real quickly before we got involved in this managerial merry-go-round that everybody's on now. And we got business early. Let's get these rumors shut down early. Let's get statements out there. Let's get clarification out there. Let's get this stuff shut down. And if someone is going, let's get them sold. If someone is staying, let's get everyone sold.
Yeah. You know what? Barcelona are. That would be harsh. That'd be very harsh. I mean, he's one of the promising players, you know, especially. I don't think that if you've gotten him on such a great deal that we ended up doing, which is like we got him on that, 35 million pound release clause deal. The first thing that you would think with this administration would be to make sure that he's locked into something that has some type of security for us to be able to keep this player as a Red.
Talking of security, if you checked where that story emanated from, it was probably off Eric Ten Hag's laptop, mate. Direct in Old Trafford, like it was.
Yeah, maybe take some of the fire off of his neck, basically. Considering that Manchester United, the only hope that he has possibly of holding on to his job could be if he gets a FA Cup, because 8th place is not where you want to be as a Red Devil. 8th place is not where you want to be.
It's as bad as
speaking of, what's that?
They've never finished lower in the Premier League.
Haven't they?
That's their lowest ever finish in the Premier League.
It's the lowest ever finish.
Lately, I've been avoiding in the last few weeks. I've not really watched much in that. Like, I have to confess, since like our title thing went derailed before the season finished, like I couldn't handle it. I was that upset. I'm that temperamental over Liverpool that I just couldn't handle it and stopped looking at the all football. I knew they were like 6th or something last time, or fighting for 6th. So they actually finished 8th. Yeah. Oh, I love Chelsea. It. I know it sounds.
Chelsea put a bit of a push on, and they got 6th. Chelsea got 6th in the end because they got some good results coming up, and United just dropped away. I think Newcastle finished 7th, and then so it was Man United 8th, Newcastle 7th, Chelsea 6th, Tottenham 5th, Villa 4th, Liverpool 3rd, Arsenal 2nd, City 1st. I think that's it.
Even when United were winning everything in sight, their fans always gloated over us losing, and it was just like we got knocked out. We got knocked out the FA Cup by Jesus, who was it? Tottenham and Jurgen Klinsmann scored, and they won the title like 2 years in a row. And that season, when that happened, they were winning the double again. And like their fans were more happy about that. It seemed like when you seen them, it was before the internet. It was on TV. You'd seen them, and they were going about us getting knocked out the FA Cup by Klinsmann's goal for Spurs, and that's when there was a shift in my mind where I thought, right, I'm going to enjoy everything about yous as well. Anything about yous, I'm going to enjoy when you lose. I mean, I already did to an extent with Man United, but it become more intense in them years, much more intense.
Well, if you look at those 3 budgets, if you look at that's Chelsea, what they've spent, Man United, the biggest spenders in the last however long, 10 years, and then Newcastle with their unlimited money. Not one of them in the Champions League. You know, Villa take fourth. Just, you know, show a good club with, you know, good manager. Good. These guys out there just throwing money at the wall, just going crazy. You know, chopping and changing managers.
Right,
not even Champions League football for $1 billion. Manchester United not being in, like we're talking about Poch going, like Manchester United not being in the Champions League should be just instant dismissal. let alone finishing 8th. You should lose your job immediately at a club like that.
Yeah. Big up to everyone joining us right now. I know that speaking of, and this is the truth, speaking of 8th place, by the way, this is what the current, I wanted to show you the current odds for relegation next year. I know it's a small graph, so I'll just tell you what it says. At least have the graph up there. But basically, it's got Leicester at 4-9 odds, Everton at 10-11. So they're possibly the some of the worst. But 1-1 for Ipswich. Forest at 2-1. Wolves at 10-3. Brentford 7-2. Fulham 9-2. Crystal Palace 6-1. West Ham 14-1. Brighton 20-1. Very interesting that Everton is as high as they are, but this is one that's kind of going to be a funny one to look at, and one that is kind of telling because even the bookies are, the bookmakers are making it, covering all their bases. They have Manchester City at 33-1. 33-1 that they get relegated next year. That's pretty incredible. I mean, Liverpool, Arsenal, we're 2,000. Our odds are 2,000-1 that we get relegated. But the sheer fact that they're thinking like, we've seen those 115 charges.
Yeah,
there's
before
a chance.
The season begins, before the season starts, hopefully, we won't hear from them again. They won't be darkening our door for a while. Hope springs eternal that justice and sanity could prevail in the world of FFP. But who knows? It's anybody's guess what's going to happen, isn't it? Really,
Yes. Brian, did you? What are your thoughts, Brian?
For a second, I thought you were talking about Man United, and they had them at 33-1.
No, Manchester United are 150-1. 150-1. Villa 100-1, Newcastle 150-1, United 150-1, Spurs 250-1. Manchester City 33-1 odds that they will be relegated next year. That says a lot.
If you could stick 50 quid on it, why not? Because relegated is relegated. But I think you'd be as Lee said, hope springs eternal, but also it's the hope that kills you. So I think we will get
sounds like
some kind of resolution.
Yeah,
we'll get some kind of resolution, but I don't think anyone's going to be satisfied at the end of this. City fans won't be happy no matter what happens because City fans, and no one else will go. Because some people want them thrown out of football altogether, and some people want them relegated. I don't think anyone's going to get really what they want, but it is. I couldn't put any kind of bet on what they're going to get. Nothing, points, relegation, expulsion, trophies taken away. No idea. It could be anything.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. It was kind of interesting to see that. It's just kind of interesting to see that. Like, guys, and
the bookies don't fuck around, man. The bookies don't fuck around.
Yeah,
they know that they're not getting messed. They're just covering that one.
They're covering their bases on that one.
Yeah,
they're really covering their bases because, obviously, the 4-time champions of the Prem getting relegated the following season. What will be the chances of that on just play alone? Obviously. But
to be honest,
yeah.
if if I was a betting man, I'd bet that they get away with it. I think there's so many vagaries and disconcertingly vague rules in that FFP that their lawyers will easily be able to. I don't want to say easily, but their lawyers will do it, and they'll end up going, "You all accused us. You all accused us. We're innocent."
Yeah, when you're getting paid whatever they're like $1,000 an hour or whatever they're getting paid, like for their services, I'm sure whatever it is, I'm sure that's probably going to be money well spent. To be honest,
the loopholes in it, like, were probably inspected a long time. Probably inspected the day they bought the club. What can we get away with on this? Oh no, when did they come in? Actually, that's bullshit. They didn't come in, did they? The rules until, was it 2012 when Wenger was moaning about their money? Was it?
Yeah.
But,
yeah. No, there's this, and then there was this little bit of just reflection, I guess you could say. And that is, again, I know it's apologies for it being possibly difficult to see, but I'll give you what it's basically a graph of. Basically, this is the first half of the season versus the second half of the season. And if you look at it, man, Liverpool, after 19 games played, had almost their one goal shy of, but had almost the best goal differential in the league at 23, plus 23. But also we had 42 points. But second half of the season, we had 40 points. What a difference the second half of the season makes. And that is Manchester City at 40 points, Arsenal at 40 points. But yet in that second half, they had 51 points, Arsenal 49 points. That made a major, major difference of really solidifying the race, basically, which is kind of crazy when you look at it. Another team that was pretty interesting to see how well and how different of a change the first half to the second half is, to me, if you look at it, was Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace was 16th place in the league in that first half of the season. And yet, if you take their second half of the season, performance, they ended up with 6th best in the league in their performance. It's a considerable difference.
They're even better than that.
What's that?
It's even better than that if you look into it. If that's just second half, if you look at it since Glasner, his first game, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe, they were top of the league.
Yeah.
And since he came in, he went. Yeah, they were just basically a team totally transformed the minute this guy comes in. Unleashes Eze. Like Mateta was a decent sort of Scottish Premier League type level striker. Got you 1 goal in 5, maybe. Now he's scoring hat tricks on the final day against Villa. I know, and admittedly on the beach, Villa. But before that, that guy was scoring goals every second game, getting assists. He totally transformed that team. So he's a manager who, if he'd come in and sort of done that from the start of the season, he'd be off to Bayern Munich. He'd be. It's only because he's come in so late that he's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. But he's performed like they're going to have a hard time holding on to Eze and Elise now, like they did already last year. They were Elise did him a favor and rejected Man City, signed a new contract, put a £60 million release clause in it. But that's going to get that's 60 million for him. That's fine. That's cool. People be happy to pay that. So this manager, like, they have a great team. They have individually on paper the fullbacks, Mitchell and the other guy, your guy, the American guy. Joachim Anderson is a brilliant centre half. Mark Gay is a brilliant centre half. Mark Wharton, who's just won his place in the England squad, young centre midfielder. Jack Decore, brilliant players. Eze, Elise, now Mateta. This guy's done a great job.
Yeah, he has.
If he keeps this up, man.
if he, this is like, it's almost like manager of the years type performance with what he's done.
Last 3 months, the form, definitely form table. top of the league, second in the league. Brilliant to watch, scoring goals. Brilliant, yeah, great. Like,
Yeah,
but those are some players that has. It's going to be a shame, isn't it? They'll lose Eze, they'll lose Elise. It always happens.
it
And
always
Elise
does.
will go and sit on the bench for City every second game. Or one of the other guys will go and not play for Chelsea or something stupid. But you can't expect them to say it at Palace either, really, can you? Look at what happened to Will Zaha.
Yeah,
He got stuck there.
Yeah,
Couldn't leave.
There's a lot of
Ended up
managers who come in and do really well early, but then it doesn't go well like in the second season. Or I mean, what's he had now? He's had like, when did he come in? He come in January, or did he come in he come in after January?
I think he came out
around maybe the end of. He's had a little bit less than half of the season, I reckon. He kind of generalized. He's had a little bit less than half of the season.
Yeah, because when we played him at Palace, he wasn't there. I remember that. But excuse me. But another thing to look at on this list too was the fact of West Ham was in 6th place in the beginning of the year, Brighton in 8th place in the very beginning of the year. Second half of the season, 16th and 17th. And both of those teams are now seeing their manager position vacant, basically, with the departures of their managers. Kind of interesting because Manchester United was in 7th in the first half of the season, ended up in 8th. Do you think Eric Sevenhag is basically that's our guaranteed, but what do you think what do you think the likelihood is? If you had to give it like a 1 to 100, chance, where do you think his likelihood of staying on as Manchester United coach is for next year? Lee, you want to give a crack at that, and then I'll ask Brian.
But for Ten Hag to stay on,
what's your odds? What percentage? 1 out of 100. MK Toe says 0%.
It's about 65-35 in favour of him getting the chop and being replaced. But I don't do betting usually, so I'm not.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I know it's not. Yeah.
From what I know,
I'm just saying percentage.
Their fans think of him and how many want him. There doesn't seem that many that want him to stay. So. Yeah, it's about 65-35 split.
65-35.
Yeah. Going, probably the odds I'd go.
65% chance of him going. Okay.
Yeah.
Brian, do you have what percentage would you say? And again, this isn't an advocation to.
No,
this
of course.
Is
No. It was a bit late for that. We've been given odds for the last half an hour.
I know. It seems like that. I'm sorry.
As I said earlier on, the fact that he hasn't been sacked already, having basically taken the team to spend that much money. Again, look, they have had shocking injuries. He can probably point to that. Again, yeah, they did have Casemiro as centre half for games. People have been out, but he still ended up in 8th with Man United. I can't understand that we live in a world where that doesn't get you sacked. They used to be ruthless. They used to be top of the tree. And that would have been completely unacceptable. But now you dress it up as a project, tell your fans to be patient. You can sell them a story. This guy Ineos, what's his name? Jim Ratcliffe's come in. I think if he was gone, this guy was going to sack him. I think they're trying to go with a stability thing. And there was a story that came out the other day. Can't remember where it was from, but they said Eric Ten Hag is not getting sacked. He is 100% safe.
Yes.
I
agree. I agree with that.
That makes sense because
it does.
If they were going to sack him, they would have sacked him by now.
Yeah,
he'd be gone. But if that's their level now, if that's what they're cool with, if that's what they're happy with, then keep going because he's got you one cup and he's taking you down and down and down the list. So just keep going with that. That's what they want to do. But this Ineos Sir Jim Ratcliffe guy was supposed to come in and rattle a few cages, but I think he's just given out to the IT department for the place being a bit messy. I think that's all he's done so far. He's done anything else?
Well, he certainly hasn't called the roofers, so
no.
Um,
No, he wants the taxes to pay for that. He's not going to do that until he gets a grant off the government to pay for it.
Yeah, there you go.
So Lee, your taxes will be going up next year to pay for Manchester United's redevelopment.
Oh yeah, you would love that if you're, I'm sure, a Manc. Here's something I thought would be kind of fun to do together. Obviously, we're gonna most likely end up voting for. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna vote for all the Reds, so it doesn't matter who is on the list. But I would like to hear your honest opinions on some of these right coming up here. So this is the fan team of the season. This is the fan team of the season. Now, I was kind of interested to see if we could do this together. Again, who we decide on, or who we pick, or who we think should be deserving of it is one thing. Obviously, again, I'm going to pick every Red I can in every category as available.
Full disclosure, this vote is rigged.
This vote is rigged. It is Red rigged for sure. But yes, this I'm gonna put the so that you guys can do it the same, so we can like stuff the ballot box basically. I'm going to include this. I'm going to include the link in the chat for you guys, just in case you guys want to, help me stuff the ballot box here. But you can give me your honest opinions before we pick our Red. But the goalkeepers that they had, they even have the number of clean sheets. Ali with 8 clean sheets, pretty surprising. Ederson had 10 clean sheets.
He's leaving City. He's leaving City, by the way.
Ederson is, yeah.
That's Romano. That's the official line from Romano. Very, very likely to leave, and he doesn't come out and say shit like that unless it's a done dealio, as people often like to criticize him for. But I don't mind that. I mean, I don't mind getting it. You tell me he only tells you the truth. Fine. He said big interest in him and big opportunity for him to leave. So.
To go where though? I was just wondering to go where though.
Oh, he said interest from clubs everywhere.
I'm sure every team would love to have him, but I'm just wondering.
Oh, he didn't go that far yet. He just he didn't go. No, he didn't mention teams. He just said, as it stands, lots of clubs interested, but big chance for him to leave. And obviously Saudi, yada yada yada. But
yeah. On this list, obviously, kind of crazy. Jurassic Park has 13 clean sheets. Raya with 16 clean sheets. A goalkeeper that was so very popular in the very beginning of the year, obviously during their run, but that's the Spurs keeper. Only ended up with 7 clean sheets. Pretty, that's pretty. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to have more clean sheets. He was so widely regarded. But
it's probably not bad for playing in front of that Tottenham or playing behind that Tottenham team.
Yeah.
He probably did well to get 7. The amount of shots they faced every game.
Who was your goalkeeper? Who was your goalkeeper of the season? Just wondering. Before we pick Alisson.
Goalkeeper this season. It is difficult, Michael.
It is. A lot of good candidates there. A lot of good candidates.
Well, I would have said the other way. There's no real standout.
Yeah.
That there's nobody that was like. They're all a bit much of a muchness, so I'm not going to pick any of those guys. So if I had to pick one of the randomers, I'd say Neto at Bournemouth.
Huh. You say Neto? Okay.
Neto at Bournemouth, because they did really well defensively, and he's
that's a really interesting shout.
So I'd go for.
The chat's got it. Allison for Bonkers. Phillips got Ali as well. Michael's saying there's literally really no good choices. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, look, the keeper with the most clean sheets is Raya, David Raya at 16. Lee, yeah, the Arsenal defense. That's why I'm saying it takes having two great center backs, two really, really good center backs to make a difference. Who was your goalkeeper of the season, Lee?
Well, because like Allison's not involved in getting it because we like fell away.
He's getting our vote. Yeah, he's getting our vote. But yeah.
Who I'm thinking about is like the keepers from the worst sides, the sides that went down, who pulled off the best saves, and that Burnley lad pulled off some good ones against us at Burnley. Remember, Stafford is it his name?
Stafford, yeah.
I know he's not in there. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like I'm looking at that's how I think. I'll go like, what about the lower teams? Who was the best goalie in the teams whose goals were peppered like with shots? And that like Trafford impressed me with a few of his saves. I know he's not in there, but
that's why I went for Neto.
Neto had played 32 games, had 7 clean sheets, and had a 67% save percentage. Out of these names, though, do you have one that you would pick, though, out of these names?
I thought it was more of them, right? Sorry, I picked one of those guys. Raya.
You pick Raya. You would just pick Raya. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, Raya had...
favorable to Martinez since I've seen him. He's done some good work. Like, I mean, Martinez, so I'd go for him. Are the ones who are up.
Yeah. It's kind of surprising. It's almost, I'm looking at some of the picks and choices that you guys are making. So far, Ali has the best save percentage. I can tell you that much. Ali's save percentage is 63% save percentage.
Yeah, but I thought we were picking somebody other than Ali because Ali was going to get picked that anyway. So.
No, you can pick anyone. You can pick, you can pick whoever you like. I'm going to vote for Ali, of course, but. I'm saying pick whoever.
Forgetting Villa in the Champions League, I'm giving it to Martinez for getting them into 4th.
Lee, he's a monumental prick, though.
It's brilliant having them in 4th because it denied quite a few teams that I dislike. Apart from Spurs, I wouldn't have minded them finishing 4th, but anybody else I wouldn't have liked it. So I was made up for Villa. And they're a good club. Mate, they won the European Cup.
They won it. Yeah, they won it in '82. I think it's their first time in the Champions League in about 34 years, 34 years, something like that.
I'm old enough to remember it. It was only a little boy. It was on TV, like when I was a kid. I remember they had Tony Morley, the guy who scored the winner for Villa's a Scouser, and the captain of the Villa team that won the European Cup was a Scouser as well. Dennis Mortimer was the captain, and the goal scorer Peter Widd was from up the road.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
fullbacks. We can name 2 fullbacks. Okay. So this how it works here for the team of the season. We can pick 1 goalkeeper, 2 fullbacks, 2 center backs, 2 midfielders, 2 attacking midfielders, and then we can pick 2 forwards. Okay, just so that you know the premise behind it.
Okay.
For fullbacks, who would you nominate for our 2 fullbacks? And also, it does not look like Robbo is not a selection. So there's only 1 red on here as being a selection. The choices for fullback are Ait Nouri, Trent, Dalat, Doughty, Pedro Porto, Robinson, Trippier, Udogie, Walker, and Ben White. Out of those selections, who in the chat, tell me who you guys pick as well.
I don't want to.
This time,
there's a couple I don't want to pick. The 2 guys that I would pick would be, even though he was out a lot with injury, but there's a reason he's in there. I'd pick Pedro Porro and Ait Nouri.
Okay. Bonkers has Pedro Porto and Walker. Stefano says he'd go with Robinson. Hey, good. I like it. no U.S. Bias there. You also said Ben White is a fair shout considering how well Arsenal did. Bernie has
Alfie
Trent
Doughty.
and Dottie.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see
What was
Alfie Doughty in there. Yeah. I didn't realize Alfie Doughty was in there. I'd put in Alfie
Yeah.
Doughty over Nori. Alfie Doughty's been absolutely brilliant this season. Create more chances per 90 than almost any other fullback. They didn't have many people.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was way ahead in the numbers for
Are
chance
they going to be
creation
able?
from
You think they're
fullback.
going to be able to hold on to him?
Probably not. No, if he played like that all year, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe a promoted
8
club picks
assists.
him up.
Yeah, that's a lot. 8 assists were for them.
Anthony Robinson, really good season. Yeah, there's some good fullbacks in there, all right. But yeah, I'll stick with Porro and Doughty.
Yeah. Oh, Stefano, I know who you meant. I know you meant Robinson from Fulham. That's why I was saying U.S. men's national team. Mark Simmons got it. Yeah, no Gomez in this list, which is kind of that's a real travesty, to be honest with you. Gomez should be in this list. And I think Gomez would be a viable candidate in this list, considering he was not only good as a right back, he was good as a left back too. That's surprising. How about for you, Lee? Who are your two fullbacks from this?
Yeah, that would seem a sensible qualification for being nominated, playing both positions fairly often.
Yeah.
Mine were Porro, because I liked what I've seen of him going forward, and Anthony Robinson, because I liked what I've seen of his whole game. You know what I mean? His whole game looks solid, but I like what I've seen of Porro getting forward. He looked very Spanish at right back, getting forward, lamping one in. So, I like Porro and Robinson were my picks,
Okay.
He was at Man City. Pedro Porro, he's another one they let go. He was at Man City.
Yeah. I already gave the disclaimer, so I obviously know why I'm picking that. I would have went with the chat had a couple of shots for Robinson. I'm gonna go Robinson too. Again.
Yeah, that was inevitable. Trent and Robinson was completely.
Yeah, that was inevitable.
I wouldn't hear the Robinson to me looks like a Liverpool left back, the old dependable ones that we used to have, that were just about equal in all areas and just consistent. He looks like he could be consistent in our squad, in our side, I reckon, if we had him. But it's just, who knows if we even want a left back, it's just one of them, isn't it? You don't know. Yeah. All right, well, now we move on to, there's 10 nominees here, and this is for center back. And there's, I think you can see the people. Okay, just making sure. But this is the center back selection. Bournemouth, obviously Virgil's on there, but Spurs have their nominee. Everton, Newcastle, Arsenal are the only team so is Everton. Everton and Arsenal both have 2 nominees on here. Who would be, Lee, we'll go with you this first time. Who are your 2 nominees? Who are your 2 choices out of this? Again, I'm going to go for the ones that are playing lower down rather than picking someone who was playing for Arsenal or City or, you know what I mean? Or even us. Mm-hmm. So I think Branthwaite looked good. Okay. And let's go back over. What else have we got?
Yes.
I've forgotten the other ones further over. One last one.
Yeah, this is the last one. So these are the other 5.
I didn't see enough of Zabiani to make that judgment call. So I will give it to William Saliba. Then I said I was going to go the low ones, but he did look impressive. William Saliba, I was impressed, and he did look impressive.
Mm-hmm. There could be an argument that Gabriel had a better year than Saliba, to be honest with you, but he scored some big goals for them. He certainly scored some big goals for them. Brian, what were your selections? I can show you the list again. Here's the list.
If you wanted to just be solid and be right about it, you'd go Gabriel and Saliba, because the outstanding defense of the season, the outstanding defensive partnership of the season. Played pretty much every game together after the first 4 games, which Gabriel missed, I think it was 4. And they, pretty much unbeatable since. So that logic would say Gabriel and Saliba, but I'm not playing logically. So I would be the 2 that I was most impressed by. Someone I've liked for a long time is Joachim Anderson. I mentioned him earlier on when we were talking about Crystal Palace. And the Brazilian centre half there, Murillo, who is someone I think we should be keeping an eye on. Brilliant on the ball, great as a competitor. But also, I go with Lee as well, and to I'll cover my head, wait for the slings and arrows coming in. But Brandweight has been awesome. He's been excellent for everything. Young kid, 6'4", absolute monster. Probably playing for City in about 2 years. But I'll give it to Joachim Anderson, because I know you're going to give it to Liverpool boys. So
I'm giving it to one.
Yeah, Anderson and Murillo for me.
You give it to whoever you like. I'll show you the whole list too. I'm sure you see.
No, I've already called him 3 times. Anderson and Murillo. Yeah. That's where my picks.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Gabriel as a player, but when William Saliba come in to partner him, that was their defence. Obviously, Ben White was playing there the season before, and then when Saliba come in, it just looked so solid, didn't it? But they're both very good players, aren't they? They are 2 very good centre-halves as a pair, and they're a good age as well. How old's Gabriel? He's the oldest one, isn't he?
About
Gabriel. 26. 26.
Yeah. They bought Saliba and they put him on a 4-year contract. And the first 3 years they sent him out on loan.
Yeah. Emery bought him, didn't he? Didn't Emery buy Saliba?
Well, yeah, the boys above him but they were getting pelters for it because Saliba was been brilliant in France. And so they were, surely he can't go out on loan again. And he gave him 1 more loan. They were like, Arsenal don't know what they're doing. They've got one of the best centre halves in Europe and he's out on loan in France. Well, it turns out they probably kind of did know what they were doing, because he's come back to finished article, stronger, better. They've signed him up now. He's not going anywhere else. So they played it really well with Saliba. 3 years out on loan is ballsy. With all the calls, this guy is ripping it up in France. You need to bring him back. You need to bring him back. No, 1 final loan to Marseille. He'll be back next year. Arsenal fans were like, what the hell is going on with this guy? What are we doing with him? But just shows you a bit of patience, planning, can work out well.
Yeah. Big up to those joining us today, too. Again, Abdul, big up to you. Big up to Richard as well, who just joined us. Big up.
Evening, everyone. Thanks for coming in.
We are at the midfielders now. There's 10 nominees here. The obvious, some of them are some obvious candidates. KDB, Bruno's, both Brunos are in this. Pascal is in this from Brighton. Douglas Luiz is here. McAllister, McGinn, Odegaard, Rice, and Rodri. The only Liverpool selection is McAllister in this list. We went with Lee last time first, so we'll go with Brian first this time. Brian, who do you have as being your midfielders? You can see them all.
Right? They're all saying that it's Declan Rice's year. He's the standout guy. He's been a huge success, and he has been brilliant for Arsenal, no doubt about it. But you're not going to get that from me today. Rodri, again, it's probably Rodri. If you want to talk about it, probably Rodri. De Bruyne didn't really play that much. Fernandez,
he didn't. Still got 10 assists, though. He still does some work.
In terms of number,
18 games played, 4 goals, 10 assists.
So if you're talking about over player of the season, well, the amount of games they played has to come into it. Fernandez.
I got you. Yeah.
Whatever. Bruno, can you put that thing?
If you need stats to help you too, by the way, and I'll hit the info.
I'm running through it. I'm about to run through them. So Pascal Gross is excellent at the start of the season. As usual, clutch for Brighton. Great player. Does it every season, but not brilliant. Bruno Guimaraes, yeah, same stuff. Excellent footballer. Nearly give it to him, but then I come to Douglas Luiz. I think he has to go in. I think he's been awesome for them.
Ooh,
he scored plenty of goals for them. He's one of the big reasons they're in fourth. Scored penalties for them, takes a lot of pieces, scored long range goals in big games. McAllister, then, yeah, I know you'll put him in, so I would go with. After that, I don't want to go with any of those other guys, so I would go with Douglas Luiz and Bruno Guimaraes. No, not Bruno Guimaraes. Douglas Luiz and Rodri, I think, have been the two best. But obviously, Maka goes in because I'm doing the not picking the Liverpool thing. So
yeah.
You can. I'm thinking like if Mac was in it, who would I pick? I'd go with Douglas Luiz and Rodri. That'd be a nice double pivot, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be a very nice. Yeah. How about for you, Lee?
Mine were exactly the same. Yeah, Douglas Luiz was who was spotted first. Been a big fan since he's been last season. This season just gone. The last 2 seasons, been looking at him, and he has looked a really, really good player in his position. And one of the things I'd love about us having him is that he was a City cast-off, like Lavia would have been. And if he came in, City cast-off, like, and helped us win the title, that'd be so sweet because it'd stick it in on their fans that little bit more. Like if he was our defensive midfielder and we beat them to the title. But yeah, with Rodri, I think it'd be churlish of me not to pick him because he is such a good player. Although I really loathe him, like the way he acts on the pitch and carries himself. He's such a good player, and it would be churlish of me to not select him as midfielder of the season. As good as a few of the other ones I've done, I like Bruno Guimaraes a bit. I like Fernandes, but another one I don't like, but he is good. De Bruyne goes without saying. It's not worth going there, is it? Gross, good selection and good inclusion. Gross, yeah, that's a good one. But anyway, McGinn, no, he's not my cup of tea. McGinn, he is good, but he's not my cup of tea.
Workhorse. He's just a workhorse with a shot on him. Never gives it up. He's like a million.
Odegaard's not my cup of tea. If that's him, is it him?
Yeah, that's him.
He's not my cup of tea either. Like, but yeah.
No, I mean, yeah,
he is so good, isn't he? Like
Rodri.
Yeah,
Rodri, 34 games, 8 goals, 9 assists from a DM. That is pretty impressive, though.
You've got to say, the man who was brilliant as well, wasn't he? Fernandinho. I mean, what a DCM Fernandinho was. And then to replace him with Rodri was a good move.
Nobody had ever heard of Rodri. And then City do that really annoying thing where, yeah, they do buy big name players sometimes, but they bring in a guy like that who no one's ever heard of. And 6 months later, like all the the big names, all the top guys join us. Well, obviously, like he's the best defensive midfielder in the world. You're like, what? Where'd you get this guy from?
Can I jump in and say, do you remember the odd quirk of fate that when Man City bought Fernandinho, the very same summer they bought another central midfielder called Fernando? Do you remember? Fernando and Fernandinho. And it's Fernandinho that ended up doing the business. Fernando came and went fairly quickly, but they were around a similar price bracket, or the other Fernando might have been more, but Fernandinho was brilliant, wasn't he?
World class. Stayed there till he was like 36. Still world class when he left. Crazy.
I see in the chat. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lee.
Rolls Royce of a player in that position, Fernandinho. So to replace him with Rodri was a bit unfair, but that's what it's like when you've got good scouts and enough money for.
No, true that. Very true. Yeah, seeing in the chat, there's been like somewhat of a pickup of of a debate on KDB. Michael Corleone says KDB doesn't score enough, Bernie, to be considered best of all time. But he definitely assists a lot. I mean, he's become now the number 2 assist leader of all time in the Prem. KDB was brilliant when he came back, says Norm. What a player, and he supported us as a kid. The thing about KDB is I know he didn't play that much. Obviously, out of all these players, only 18 played, but he had 4 goals and 10 assists. What's kind of surprising about that is his numbers are very, very comparable to those that have played twice the number of games as he has. That's what's so interesting, and that he was with them for the second half of the season, which was the most important portion of the year to have him. I think if it's vice versa and they don't have KDB in that second half of the season, I think that we're looking at a different result possibly with the end of the title.
He's won midfielder of the season a few times, hasn't he, at the awards? So, I think it's Rodri's go this time. To be fair, they are the champions, and it is a fabulous side and all that one. Rodri just does me head in with his incessant cheating and gesticulating at the ref and the faces he pulls.
Yeah, to me, the ball isn't in that team to score goals. I mean, that's not.
But Rodri scored some big goals, though. He scored some very big goals, though, this year.
Oh yeah, but what I'm saying is Kevin De Bruyne isn't in that team to score goals.
Oh, Kevin, yeah,
that's not his primary function. Yeah. So I wouldn't boiling it down to just goals for a player who does what he does.
Yeah,
no, that's beyond reductive. So that's he's clearly one of the most talented players that's ever played in the Premier League in his position. Like him on his day, his passing is good Lord. Let's give him props. Like what he did in Germany. Yeah. Why can't he score more? Because Pep Guardiola plays beyond scientific football. Everybody is told what to do, where to pass, where to play, where to hit it. He's told to pass. He's told to pass. Yeah,
right.
It's he's a central midfielder. This is not a conversation I want to be having. We're going to move on with these guys. Yeah, we'll get bogged down in other stuff, so we've got players to pick.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about Manchester City's greatness of their players on them.
Yeah.
I think this one's a little bit more of an easier pick for a lot of people. I think quite possibly it would be basically the former youngsters of City once again, in Cole Palmer and probably Phil Foden being most likely the choices for a lot of people on this list. But again, this is for attacking midfielders. They obviously put in wingers in this concept as well. But Bailey, Bowen, Azize, Foden, Gordon, Kudus, Palmer, Saka, Salah, and Master Splinter. Who would you have for your 2 midfielders? I think we want Brian first last time, so this time we'll go with Lee.
I liked what I saw behind Kudus, but I didn't see him in. Hang on, let me hang fire. Cole Palmer is a definite, from what I see in Cole Palmer, definitely. Flick back to the beginning, but Abiyaze, he had his injury, didn't he? So can't pick him. Bowen I like, but I look at Bowen more as a forward in West Ham's formation. Can you call him
now? You do, He's played a bit of striker, for them.
Oh no, he normally plays up front for them because your man is usually out.
I'm gonna go Mohamed Kudus and Cole Palmer. Gonna go for them too because I like what I saw.
Okay. Kudus, 8 goals, 6 assists for Kudus, 33 games played.
He does the bit, and he definitely does the bit.
Yeah. Brian, who were your choices? You saw all of them, right? Let me make sure.
Yeah, like I like the
Go
boys.
through them
I
again.
like the Palace boys. They've been great, but Kudus, I think, like is the epitome of a player that's playing for a move. Like he moved to West Ham to get to move to a bigger club. And that guy was
Mhm.
just putting on a show. He won't be around for long. But for me, there's only two. It has to be Palmer and Foden, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Really, it's the two of them. The other ones, a lot of really good ones, but they were totally outstanding, especially Cole Palmer. As much as I hate to say it, but Foden,
Yeah.
this is what Pep does. He waits 2-3 years to bring a player right up to their peak. Like he's the world's greatest. He should be a racehorse trainer because he can train a team to peak right when
Hmm.
they need to peak. He can train players to be fit right in the last 2-3 months. He can train players to peak right in that last final run in. He's got
Yeah.
Foden just on fire at the moment. Like everyone 2-3 years ago, oh Pep, he never plays Foden, gonna have to sell him. Now
Hmm.
he's like taking over. Like someone said there, KDB plays number 10. He doesn't play
Right.
number 10. Foden plays number 10. It's Foden has been his most outstanding season by far. This is the guy that
Yeah.
all these English fans wanted to see, street baller. You see some of those videos of him when he was younger. Good Lord.
Hmm.
What like that his ability on the ball is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's got to be, unfortunately for me, him and Palmer, which is, I suppose, is good to say that too. In the international cosmopolitan world of the Premier League, you've got two young English lads, so it shows that there's still talent in the country.
Yes, it certainly does. Certainly does. Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, all very talented players.
Sorry, just to add, where would Chelsea be now without Cole Palmer? They'd be in bloody 12th.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. They'd be.
League spot. Who got 7th for the Conference League? I honestly stopped looking because it was too painful towards the end of the season. Who got
Newcastle.
7th?
Newcastle.
Oh, Newcastle. Okay.
Yeah, Newcastle. Yeah. Anthony Gordon, 11 goals, 10 assists.
Yeah, little rat. Like someone said earlier, he looks like Claire Bowling. He does look like Claire Bowling.
Yeah. Well, now we move on to the forwards. This is the forwards list. The forwards list. I've already put in my nomination for Darwin. But some good candidates there. Son, Slanky, Risa, Wood, Chris Wood, Ollie Watkins, obviously Son, Isaac, Havertz, Holland, Cunha.
The streets.
The streets have arrived. The streets have arrived. Who are we going with the two forwards that you want to go with? Who are the two forwards you go with in this list? Bernie's got Solanke and Holland. Stefano's got Holland and Isaac. Or maybe even Watkins, he's saying. Norm is going Watkins and Holland. Okay. Just out here, picking the fan team of the season here, Rasta. This is the Premier League fan team of the season.
Yeah. We were too lazy to put together our own, so we just stole theirs.
This is how we get it officially marked in, so we show our recognition of it.
Yeah.
We went with Lee first last time, so we'll go with you, Brian, this time first. Who are your two forwards?
I liked Cunha because I brought him into my fantasy football team when pretty much nobody had him and kicked off. So I have great memories of him this season. He scored goal assist pretty much for a really the short run of time, and then he got injured. Then he comes back, starts doing it again. Not a flash in the pan. So great little player, someone we should probably be keeping an eye on, but not probably of the season level. I get Solanke just he's decent. Son, great season, but by his standards, not out there crazy. Couple of other boys in there, but I would go definitely with Alexander Isak. He has to be up there. And the other one, I think, might be controversial choice, but someone I've always had a really high opinion of. And I just thought he was always at the wrong club, the wrong system. And I'm going to put in Kai Havertz. So Isak and Kai Havertz for me.
Isak and Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz had 13 goals, 7 assists in 37 games. And Isak had 30 games. He had 21 goals, 2 assists.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Lee, what are your choices? What were your choices? I'll show you the list to make sure you see it.
Yeah, I made them like quite early for different reasons. I've always liked Son. So I know he hasn't had a distinguished season, but I like him. I like Heung-min Son.
Surprising you say that. You know what? I know Brian said that earlier too. He's got 17 goals. We got 10 assists. It's not like he's been like,
No, I just when I said he hasn't had an outstanding season by his standards, he's had some crazy.
By his standards.
Yeah, he has been brilliant. Yeah, but by his standards, he has had better seasons.
17 and 10 is pretty good numbers.
Oh no, he's brilliant. That's why he's on the list. That's why he's on the list. No, yeah,
I know people are questioning your Kai choice is getting a lot of question marks out there. But how about Lee? Lee, what were your? I'll give you a chance to respond to that in a second, Brian. I'm just gonna get Lee's choice first.
Did well to keep Brentford afloat while Tony was out. He had a good go at it, so I'll give it to him for that, for a good effort while Tony was out. Because Mbumo was out as well, wasn't he? And
he was. He was.
He had to be stretched, weren't he, Brentford? And he had a good go, YNWA. So notable effort, like.
For sure.
34 games, 12 goals, 3 assists for Wisa. So you went with Wisa and who else?
Son.
And Son? Okay, just make sure.
Yeah, Son, because I've had a liking for Son since he came, and he's been here a while now, and he's been here he come here not long after Klopp, didn't he? He was here in 2018. Yeah. He's been here a while, and I've always had a liking for him. He does some great stuff, and he's really hard working, isn't he? So yeah, Son.
Perfect Klopp player. Yeah. I always wanted him at Liverpool. Perfect Klopp player he would have been.
Yeah. I'm trying to get over to it. All right, so that's it. Glad to see we picked Darwin, and I'll put Son down there.
Do you like Isaac?
That's so. What's that?
I do like Isaac as well.
Oh,
Alexander Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac. I like. Yeah. 21 goals, 2 assists is a good haul, to say the least. Isaac's just for me. Isaac is just an issue with this.
He looks to me like one of them forwards. If he does get on it properly, he'd be very, very good forward, in a decent side. If he continues the way he is, I think because he is capable of some really good finishes, and he's quite cool and calm. Good forward, want to see more from him. See what he's like next season. Whoever's their manager and whatever players they've got playing with him. Are they still meant to be selling players or something? Newcastle. Remember, people were saying it months ago.
Yes.
Newcastle.
Yes. If they want to make, if they're going to make any additions, if they're going to make any viable additions to their team, it's going to have to be via sales. Especially not getting Champions League this year hurts them immensely when it comes to that. So, not getting that kind of money from Europe is going to make them very limited with what they can do. It's not about how much money their owners have. It's just about how much their books show they have, and that's a big difference. So
there's the bare bones of a decent side there with them. Botman and Shah. The fullbacks are okay. The midfield needs a signing for sure. Someone to play with Guimaraes and maybe anyone else you pick from their midfield. You've got Isaac, you've got Almer on, but I think if you've got the bare bones of a good team there, it's maybe just fleshing the squad out better. So what they bring in as subs and that is a bit stronger. I mean, even if they haven't got a lot of money, there's still, still moves they can make, isn't it? You've got this Conference League, which I always liked Newcastle. I get a lot of bile. Well, not me personally, but Liverpool do from their fans. I've noticed in recent years. I'm like, why? What did we ever do to you, Newcastle? I like you guys.
Here's a question. Brian, it says, who is better, Nunez or Solanke?
We'll just come back to the other. If we're judging just on this season, I think it's not like if you want Isaac or what. Yeah, he does have his injury problems, but if we're just dealing on this season, Isaac has been. If we're looking back, he did what he did. It's his injury record doesn't really affect it. I suppose I was giving out at the other guy. I know, but I was saying no one mentioned Watkins. Watkins had an incredible season. Like the numbers Watkins put up is he'll do well to ever beat that again in his life. But no one mentioned him. Again, I wouldn't incredible season. Isaac, for me, what he did this season, he did. I've said, look, amazing player made out of biscuits, right? But he has stayed a bit fitter. He has stayed regularly fit for a long time. And that guy on the ball, he's absolutely cold. He can dribble and he can finish.
You reminds me of a bit sometimes. He reminds me of Clive a bit sometimes. The way he moves and the way
he's cold.
And he's good. He's not Clive but he's a very good player anyway.
The dad, not the son, right? The dad, not the son.
Yeah, they can sell one guy. If you think about it, if you talk about spreading it out on amortization, they just need to sell one guy for 100 million, and then they can spend a hell of a lot, because then that's 100 million in, and then they amortize the purchases to 10 million. It's 100 million in the door, but then they can go out. So it'll be, I would imagine. To me, it sounds like Bruno Guimaraes is the most obvious one. He's gone there a little bit too early to be part of their project. He's getting on if he wants to be the next 5 years. They're not in the Champions League yet. He could go to a big club for 100 million. That would open up the taps for them. They would definitely rather keep him.
Who is buying him for 100 million though?
No, but I'm just saying in their hypothetical world.
I know what you're saying. I'm asking in general. Who would you see? Not you can answer this, or Lee, or the chat.
Well, I was going to say Gordon would probably be the one that might be more likely to go.
Right. If they're looking for close to 100 million for him, possibly too.
I don't see that. The vultures will come in and want to take Bruno and want to take Isaac. Yeah. If someone was to come in, to me, Bruno, when I say 100 million, I mean the big sale. The big sale will be Bruno, I think, because he will make more of it, and then might be Isaac next year. But it'll be like growing, like when City did. It's these guys will be looking at it going, hey, look, I know for a fact that if I was to come back here in 5 years, you'll be way up higher. But in 5 years, I'll be 31. Or in 5 years, I'll not get that move to Madrid. So it's the guys that come in and then leave and go, hey, look, you're going places, but I need to go somewhere else. So they need to open up those taps. They do. They need to do something. Bruno, Isaac. There's lots of talk about Isaac to Arsenal. And they'll go and spend 80 million on him. Don't doubt it. They will. If they think he's worth it and he's fit enough, Arsenal will put 80 million for an Isaac. Definitely.
Okay. I put on here basically, this is an interesting stat. We do live score, so it's an interesting stat from live score, and it was points from losing positions in the Premier League since Klopp's arrival in the league. It's pretty interesting. 157 points from losing positions. Liverpool obviously lead that. I mean that mentality monster statistic, I guess. Spurs, surprisingly, 141 points from losing positions. West Ham 121, and then we just go down the list of Manchester United, Palace, Arsenal. Kind of interesting because Arsenal are so concede themselves as being these mentality monsters now, and able to be able to adore that concept. But Manchester United are on that list, obviously, but Manchester City 92. But then again, Manchester City is often in the driver's seat when it comes to, unfortunately. That's why they're not really too often having to go into that gear for this.
Second half FC.
Second half FC. Yeah, second half FC. There was another stat too. I know that there's been some talk. We're gonna have an episode coming up on this because I'm gonna do, I do my Mount Rushmores. We're gonna do a Mount Rushmore of the Prem episode that's coming up because there's I was speaking on this more so with Brian about what's his name, Andy Goldstein, I think his name is, something like that, from his idiotic take. I know, probably hurts the ears for me to even say his name from Talk Sport. He's an absolute
I know who you mean. Yeah, he's a blast him.
Yeah, he's an absolute.
He's a City fan. Big square head on him.
Is he a City fan? I thought he was a United fan. Is he a City fan?
Oh, sorry, I meant United. Sorry, I meant United. I meant City.
Yeah, he's United. Yeah, I don't even know who he is. Was he a player? Do you have him on with
he's a journalist. He's a journalist, radio broadcaster type.
Yeah.
You know Soccer AM?
Yeah.
He basically invented that. He pitched that show. He invented Soccer AM, basically. He was on it at the start. Yeah, he's just a journalist, broadcaster, idiot type guy.
Yeah, I liked that years ago, so I'll give him a thumbs up for giving us that. I haven't watched it in over 25 years.
Yeah.
Oh no, his takes were horrible lately. He did well in the sense of he had a take that triggered me enough to comment, and rage over, because he was trying to say that basically he was trying to say that this man right here wasn't a legend and that he's not a Premier League legend as well. And he says he's barely a Liverpool legend, much less a Premier League legend, basically, is what he was trying to say. But to that, it was very, this was my comment back, basically. Only 2 managers in English football have completed the trophy set with one club. Only 2 managers in English football have completed the trophy set with one club. Sir Alex did it in 13 years. Klopp did it in 6. Pretty talented, pretty talented coach, I say.
Brilliantly past 12. I love it. Yeah, he's a knob, and that Goldstein, I've heard him mouth off a few times, not so much about us, but just in general, and you just know that a lot of crap comes out of him, he's just one of them personalities,
Well, the giveaway is he's on TalkSport.
Oh, there you go.
I get a laugh out of that TalkSport sometimes.
It's like a zoo.
Only if it's a live stream, because it's a bun fight in there of footballing insults.
It is. It's like a zoo and all the animals are on drugs. It's just insanity sometimes. Yeah. They let people ring in. The people that ring in, that, oh man, they get rid of the normal people. Because you have to talk to the researcher before they let you on.
Yeah,
you have to tell them what you want to talk about. You won't get online. So they get rid of all the normal people and just keep the lunatics on.
That's one way of looking at it. Yeah. Some of the takes are pretty. I mean, some of the takes you hear on there are pretty wild. Pretty wild. And that's not just by the callers. That's the scary thing about it. It's normally by the host of the shows that make you go, what? Okay, you're having a laugh.
Simon Jordan, he's on it a lot, like, and I could stand him a bit at first, and then after a while, it was just his voice just sounded just like a drone. And he's all right, like, but he can be a massive knob, like when he was going on about when we got ripped for that penalty at Spurs, and we dared to say, "Oh, that was a rip off that it was onside." He went, "Victim FC." I was like, "What?" I mean, he didn't say it like that, but I don't think I was even watching the particular one where he said it. But then the next day, I was on it, like messing around, and heard what he'd said. So I launched into an assault on his character for a laugh.
Yeah, there was I wanted to see that what Bernie just said was true. I thought I have the clip of that, but yes, 20%. This is spot on. 20% of Sky Sports viewers that were watching at the time watched City Celebration, whereas I believe it was 60%, but she's saying 65. It was at least 60% were watching Klopp's departure or Klopp's farewell. I mean, it goes to show you like what really matters, what people really, moments and memories like this, are the reason why people are tuning in to see one of the most beloved coaches of this era for Premier League. I mean, like it's kind of crazy because there was even if you weren't a Liverpool fan, you still had this kind of what's the word? Or you still had this love, or appreciation for Jurgen. I mean, there was a quote from David Beckham, for instance. He said, "This is what David Beckham had to say." He said, "Even as a Manchester United fan, he loves Jurgen. He loves his character. He loves his personality and what he brings to the sport. Like as in,
Oh, excellent. I've never much liked Beckham, but the fact that he said that has pleased me. Like, it's good of him to come out because you won't get many of their ex-players coming out and saying it. I suppose he's big enough, like, to take the flak that if they have a go at him, he'd be like, shut up anyway, you know what I mean? It would be a big deal for him, like, if their fans are like, why did you say this? But, I'm pleased he said that.
Lee, have you ever noticed, right, that David Beckham, like he is getting a little bit older now, but he's just recently did like $100 million deal to, be a tourism guy for Saudi. But ever since he left Man United, like he's become probably a bigger star, and he's lost more or made more money than he actually was when he was at Man United. Like he did all this stuff and all that. Like he's become one of the biggest brands, one of the faces, one of the highest paid people on the planet, sportsman wise. And what's the one thing he never promotes? Manchester United. He never does anything for Manchester United.
I never thought of it like that. You know what? You just put that into my brain, like, and thanks for that. I've never thought of it that way. He doesn't, does he? He doesn't have anything to do with merch or nothing, does he?
Nope. He is brand.
Picking Rodri like for midfielder of the season, it would have been churlish of me not to. It's churlish of like figures like him. Say if he turned around and said what Goldstein said, it'd sound pathetic, wouldn't it? If he said that, we leave it to the Goldsteins of this world to say that crap. But like, I'm pleased that he come out and extolled the virtues of our erstwhile manager and spiritual king, Jurgen Norbert Klopp. Excuse me a sec.
This bit of news right here is actually I'd like to see this happen, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't like it to be our only acquisition at this position, but I wouldn't mind seeing us get one of the more promising young talents out there, and that is Liverpool, Real Madrid, and PSG are all in the race to sign Lenny Yordle. the promising player for Lille, I believe it is, right? Does he play for Lille? I think he plays for Lille.
Yeah. Didn't somebody, wasn't it Daryl? I think Daryl put in a way earlier on there, after like 5 minutes after the stream started, he put in a comment saying that he had officially done signed for PSG. So, yeah, is that crossover? Yeah, that's, I think Daryl definitely put that in way earlier on. That he had joined.
There's no news. Yeah.
I don't know which is true there. I'm not sure this, but he's definitely, he's one of those guys that you can guarantee will be sold this summer. A young centre back, highly in demand. If he hasn't already signed for PSG, like Daryl was thrown in plenty of stuff there earlier on that was all spot on. So maybe he's seen it somewhere else.
Right.
But yeah, that's a guy that everyone is talking about. Everyone is, very young. Very, very young player. All of a sudden, he's kind of, oh, you bring him in, then you look at him and you think, bloody hell, this guy's actually got 4 years to go before he's peak age. He's costing you 80 million quid. I don't think we're in that conversation, or whatever he's going. He's not going to be 80 million. I'm just,
No.
But he's going to be money. I don't, because he's younger than. I think he's younger than Kwanzaa. If he's not younger than Kwanzaa, he's basically the same age as him. And they're talking about he's going to Real Madrid, Barcelona, big money, PSG, basically the same age as a player like Kwanzaa. So he's not. Is he the guy that comes in?
It's apparently, well, I believe that the price they're looking for, just so you know, is apparently here's what they're saying: Premier League clubs and PSG are interested in €1. Real Madrid are likely to offer under 40 million euros for the youngster. So the number, though, that they're reporting is kind of the target number that they're looking at getting possibly would be 37 million euros.
Yeah.
It's around.
I'd love to buy him. I'd love to buy him, but I'd also I'd also want us to then buy a 26-year-old guy. I'd love to have a Laro.
Well, unfortunately, Euro. Yeah.
To be able to have a guy like that at that age, be able to bring him in like Madrid did with Camavinga, these kind of things. But I don't think we can. I mean, if we're spending 40 million on a centre half, he's got to be a bit more developed in his career. I don't know what you think, but I think we don't need 20 more.
I get what you're saying. It makes it a little bit harder to negotiate, though, if you do say to him, even as an 18-year-old, I believe he's 18, I want to say, even 18? As a young, I think he's 18, I want to say.
Jesus, I thought he was. Christ,
I'll double check just so to make sure. I don't want to be incorrect with that.
I have to admit, it blew me top about Ibu's fitness towards the end of the season, or his lack of fitness.
You weren't the only one, Lee. 12 man. It's the first time I've ever seen him actually say he's lost his. He's always, that's the first time I've seen him go. No.
Yeah, he's 8.
Do you think that
it wasn't for him? Go ahead, Lee.
Do you think with a slightly different system, maybe it could be less taxing on him if we play a flat back 4? And
that's
strange with him.
That's the question. Do you want to maybe compromise your ability to attack, compromise maybe the system or form that you want simply for Konate? I wouldn't. Despite the fact that he's a very incredible and absolutely incredible talent. For me, what really made me sour on Konate, at least for dependability, was just that availability. When I saw that there was that little period, that run of games that we needed where we were still in the thick of things. We're still viable for the title, and we sat him before the international break. He ended up playing for France, twice for France actually, and came back then came back to Liverpool and didn't play. That is not what you need from a player. You don't need that.
Was the message that was sent. I think, like, if you want to call it a message, I think there was a degree of a message, but how much can a departing manager, send a message? It's like, it's his last day as a boss. He can still, send you home early or something, on his last day.
Right.
But it's only gonna last so long. But I think there was a shift there in my mind where it was a few weeks ago, maybe 6. Someone was asking me, like, Canate is, who's going to start. I was like, to be honest, man, I think it's Kwanzaa now. He was talking to me about picking players in fantasy football and stuff. I was like, to be honest, I think even if he's fit, I think Kwanzaa starts over Canate at this stage.
I think, yeah.
And that was about 6-7 weeks ago. And it was the same about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Again, just an Arsenal fan who doesn't watch Liverpool much, wanting to pick fancy football players. I was saying, no, don't, like, Nunes ain't going to start. It's Gakpo. Nunes has lost his place to Gakpo. Canate has lost his place to Kwanzaa. This isn't a rotation thing anymore. This is Klopp going, I think Kwanzaa is the main man right now. And I think
Kwanzaa is. He should be. And he should be.
Yeah. Now, what does it say to Canate? Canate says, Klopp doesn't rate me. Well, Klopp just left the building. I'm still here on 120 grand a week or 170 grand a week with my big long contract, So, Bun Klopp's opinion, it's Slot's opinion now. Kwanzaa's going to have to go and, but like you said, it's the same with Thiago. It's the same with Bajcetic. It's the same with anybody that wasn't fit and available this year. You can't judge them because they weren't playing. Like you said, availability is the best ability. And Canate, it's 1 week in, 2 weeks out. Yeah. 1 week in, 2 weeks out. Can't be doing with that. Can't be doing with it.
Right. Yeah, what positions you need stability the most, really? It's that pairing at centre half, and it was a culmination of his fitness record. She arrived for me over 3 seasons that I eventually snapped like towards the end of the season when it was just week after week that he wasn't playing. I was like, well, why isn't he playing? And you were saying he was injured and that, but as players used to play, probably with some of the injuries that when Klopp, he done a little strain and Klopp kept him out for ages. And I was like, years ago, centre-halves had played with them, and not very many years ago. I don't get it. I just thought he was out the team once too often for it to be for it to always be true that he couldn't play at all. And
that was the problem. That was the problem. It wasn't a broken leg.
Niggle. Well, you know what I mean? I'm not bothered. I just want to see him play. If he gets another knock, I'd rather he got the knock in the match than in training, you know what I mean? Trying to come back from an injury. But I just snapped at the end with him, and thought, I was saying online, that I thought we should sell him. And if we could get our money back off PSG, or maybe a little bump on top of it, with him it's stock's quite high in France, obviously being in the national side, but they can see his fitness record too. They're not blind. I mean, I don't know. I can't see him leaving. I don't think it's going to happen. But he needs to find some fitness. I've never seen him play more than 6 games. I think that's the maximum I've seen him play in a row. I think that might have been towards the end of the quad attempt, and that ended in Paris. I think he had 6 in a row. It's the most I've seen for him. For centre halves, you can't be coming in and playing 3 and then going out and then coming in and playing 2. You've got to stay in, run. You know what I mean? It's essential.
Yeah, we've been speaking about it all. Well, last maybe 4 months. Saliba and Gabriel. Week in, week out, week in, week out. 90 minutes each. Never miss a game. Never get taken off. That's why they're doing what they're doing. That's why they have one of the best defensive partnerships out there. And it's the thing with Canate it's not like he does his hammies, he does his ligaments, it's just like you say, little niggly injuries. He's out for a game and 2 games. You can't be having that. You just can't. That's just I gave him enough time to grow out. He's huge, right? He's absolutely enormous. He makes Virgil look like a normal man when he's standing beside him. It's just like Virgil just looks normal size. So running around with all of that stuff, muscles, ligaments, that's not going to be easy. Okay, we know that. But some players are like that and they get over it or they grow into it. I think he's probably as big as he's going to get now. Maybe he's too big. Maybe he will always have these kind of injuries just because of his body. Yes, we can't have that. It's brilliant. Like if he doesn't leave,
crystal ball or nothing, but I've got a feeling Ibu's going to struggle like that. Maybe if he moved back to France, like where it was less taxing, I don't know, but I just don't think he.
They all say the Premier League is like. They all say it's like boot camp. They all the pro footballers that like grew up in other countries or raised in other and played a couple of years in England. They all say it's like, nah, you've never played in England. It's like you don't realize. It's just ridiculous. Like now, obviously these days it will have slowed down a bit. The intensity when you look at a team like City. Yeah, these guys are maybe 10 years ago, but even now they say in England, yeah, it's just a different type of intensity, different type of fitness that you need. So some guys can do it, some guys can't. But I'm not for waiting 4 years to find out if a centre half is good enough. I mean, look, just if we can move him. If we can replace him with better, and let's get on with it.
He's exactly what we needed, and we bought exactly what we needed and got exactly what we needed when we got him. It's just the fitness. If he could play, everything would be sweet. But it's just not happening, is it? He's just not playing enough. I would prefer him to go if we could recoup the 36 million and spend that on someone else. Don't spend it on two players. Just a direct replacement for that. If we got our fee back, a direct replacement.
We'll get our money back. We will get our money back.
We'll get our money back. We'll get our money back. That's what I was about to get at. Is that we'll get our money back. Why I've been so, I guess one of the few people to really even offer Konate as being someone that I would move on from possibly is because we'll get value for him. There are people out there, there are teams out there that will certainly look at Konate and say he's worth he's worth it.
I was looking at worst case scenario, really. Like I was thinking, other teams are going to look at his fitness record and think, not a chance.
If he plays in the Euros, and he might play in the Euros, and hi Marianne, by the way, and he might very well play in the Euros, stay fit.
Right.
I'm not saying we'll make our money back. We'd make a profit on him. You can sell him for 50.
I think we'd make a profit on him.
Yeah,
well,
you
we're
would.
looking at where we could get money, aren't we? And there's Mo, there's Ibu.
You can get 75 million for it. You get 75 million for Ibu. You can get 75 million. I think
that story from Eric Ten Hag's laptop about 60 million release clause for McAllister. There's another 60 we could get from somewhere. But you know what I'm saying? It's a place we could get money in the summer because I was going to say if it doesn't work out, and for me it hasn't worked out with Ibu, I want to move on and have a different player.
It's not ideal though, Lee. Like you were saying earlier. Sorry, 12 man. I knew you want to talk. It's just that. You're not just you're losing Ibu if you sell him. You're losing Ibu and Matip. So you're doubling. You already needed reinforcements.
Yeah.
Then you're losing Matip.
Yeah.
And then you're okay. Right now we need 3 centre halves because
a young centre half. Don't we want to be buying a young? I want if we're buying, buy experienced or at least 25, 26. I don't really want to be seeing players who are centre half who are 21, 22 coming in. I want older one. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I was going to say we did a piece where we played sporting director and we allowed for the chat, and Brian was like the captain of that effort. And the chat and Brian picked basically a team of who would be leaving, who would be, and we did it as relatively realistic as possible in that we associated how much money not only were you losing in the funds or the fee for the player, but also what you have to pay the wage bill for the player. As in, it's great to say, oh well, I'll just get rid of Diaz. Well, that's fantastic, but you're not bringing in a left wing at 55K. Most likely, that's going to be comparable to what you're trying to make an upgrade at that position. You're probably going to be spending 110, 160,000 or something along those lines for a viable left wing. So when I did my run at it, and one of the things my run was I did put Konate, and I understood what Brian was saying too. Yes, we're losing not only Matip, but the likelihood of us giving up on Konate isn't great, because that would leave such a tremendous big hole at the center back position. And
it's too much in one go, isn't it? Really, if Konate and Matip both left, to leave just Virgil and Kwanzaa, it'd be a massive hole to fill. Like, so anyway, let's just hope, I suppose, Ibu get better fitness news next season. Maybe the new manager, and we'll play a little bit differently. It won't be. Well, everyone blames the training, don't they, with our injuries with Klopp, because we have had a lot, and everyone's going on about the whatever they call it. What was that test where they all run around mental?
Are you talking about the? No, you're talking about the
training.
Lactose test.
That's the one. The lactose test. Because people talking about the injuries that we have had, and some of the serious injuries we've had. So maybe if we stop doing that, he might have more chance of being in the team.
Milk cup test.
I'd love to see him for 3 months in a row next to Virgil every game. You know what I mean? Because he could do it, and then.
Lee, we were speaking about this before because we've been talking about Gabriel and Saliba. He did have a run earlier on this season where he was fit, and I saw the stats, and there was someone brought it up as a stat that statistically, as a pairing, Konate and Virgil were the best in the Premier League, even outperforming Saliba and Gabriel. So you can take your stats however you want to take them, but the point, the point stands that they were excellent together, and that's all you need. Like, because you're spot on. We don't know what's going to happen in football, and if next season Konate, not because of any magic dust Arne Slot has, it's just he finally just attains a type of a level of consistent fitness, stops getting those little things, and he puts together 33 games at the back with Virgil, and they do that. We'll be talking about him in a very, very different way. It's just that right now.
Was it away to Atalanta when he got that injury, where he just fell over backwards? It was something in the box, and then he just went down, and we didn't see him again. That was the end of him, and it looked such an innocuous thing that I thought, he won't miss the next match, and Jurgen said, we'll have to see, and then we never seen him again. That was the end of him.
Again.
It was the Arsenal. It was the Arsenal match too. He got a little knock in the Arsenal match too, where we took him out early, I believe it was. And it was it was one of those concerns where it's just if you've got to have bubble wrap around your center back, that's not a good thing. It's not a good starting point.
But it just shows we got the right player. We couldn't judge the fitness, but it shows that when he plays, it showed that we bought.
Absolutely. Player. He's a phenomenal player. When he plays and he's fit, phenomenal player. But if we can get the kind of consistency in availability as a Arsenal, for instance, has gotten, one of the major reasons why they were able to do what they did, because the spine of their team was always present. For the majority of the season, the spine of their team was always present. And that makes a huge difference.
I have a genuine question for you two. I have a genuine question for the two of you. Right now, because they're not that far off, right? Right now, and you've had a good enough, I think, data set, a good enough window to look at. With all being real, who is actually better, Kwanzaa or Konate? Who do you actually think is like forgetting Kwanzaa, new player, young player? He's got put a lot of games out, a lot of minutes down. So from what you've both seen, just genuinely off the top of your who do you think is actually the better centre half?
Yeah, I think right now I would have never thought it. I wouldn't have thought at the beginning of the season that this was going to be me saying this, but I would say it's an honest push right now. For me, it's like I would say there's certainly some categories that Kwanzaa exceeds in, and there's some categories that I think Konate exceeds in, whether it's like physicality or just like football IQ, those kinds of categories. But it's a push for me. It's a coin toss. I don't know. I wouldn't say either one of them, and that's what's not necessarily concerning. It's a great thing to have, I guess. Yeah. But one of the things that I would have said early in the season is Konate, hands down. But the sheer fact that Kwanzaa has either made up that much difference of ground, or has Konate, kind of because of his unavailability, kind of come down a little bit of levels to make Kwanzaa be a considerable a choice for that. That's the big question. That's a very big question.
Yeah, no, I just to clarify with Lee, if we remove from the equation the whole Kwanzaa that gets extra points because he's young and coming to a new team, yada yada yada. If we take that away from it, just looking coldly at how they are on the pitch, I mean, when's the last time Kwanzaa made a mistake? So who would Lee? Who do you think right now? Who's actually playing better? Who's the better player?
Kwanzaa.
Yeah,
Kwanzaa scoring goals, giving assists. He's like playing defense.
What he got off on in France was horrible, wasn't it? Because he equalised for us, and he never give it, did he? Like they had us off for McAllister's handball, didn't he, or something? And that would have been his debut goal, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, Kwanzaa I think Kwanzaa got the goal for in our last game, right? I think that was Kwanzaa's goal.
Oh, off Mo, he did get it. Yeah, he got. Yeah, that was Mo kind of hit it, but
Kwanzaa got the last touch. Yeah,
he scooped it on over the line. Yeah,
he makes himself useful in the box. It's just so horrible that you've got such a quality centre half like Konate, who would be so brilliant with Virgil, because he's got that bit of age and experience with him now, Konate. But it's just time and again he's breaking down, and we're not getting the consistent pairing that you need. And you need consistent pairings at centre half. City do it a bit different. They've got 5 choices, and he does the way he does it now. His system, Pep.
Yeah.
But it's a pain in the arse, isn't it, that we've got a player who could do all the stuff we need, as a partner for Virgil, and was sort of being denied it. It just happens in football all over the pitch, though, doesn't it? You have players, and it just never happens because of injury.
Hey, and actually, you know what? He's got 2 goals, to tell you the truth, in the last 2 games, actually, because he had that incredible header.
Okay. I was going to say he's got 2 and 2. The hang time. Remember the hang time goal? Michael Jordan setting something. He was just up there, and he was still up there, then he was still up there, then he was still up there. Then the ball came in. Then it was crazy, man. The guy's got everything. The guy has got everything. But the other question I was going to say to you,
that's something that Konate has, if anything, that was something that Konate had, and has something that has somewhat disappeared from his game, has been his dominance when it comes to being able to be, a second option on those corner kicks for, as a target. And I haven't seen Konate score in a long time, actually, from or even look like he's going to have an opportunity to possibly put something in on that.
I enjoyed the one against.
Good point. Question here for you guys. Say again.
I enjoyed Konate's header against Man City at Wembley, the 2022 semi-final. That was a good one. That's the kind of Konate that if Konate was here, then we'd have a different story. Go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, was that the one where he just kind of strolled into the box and put his hand on someone and just nodded it in? Like total, just
Yeah.
don't even try and bother tackling me. He just
Mhm.
walked into the
Mhm.
box. He didn't even try and jump. He just pushed someone out of the way and just
Yeah.
pure domination.
It is, yeah. It was all the way. It was a good one. I was hoping there'd be a few more, like directly in its weight. And he has got the capability. Matip in corners, never really happened, did it? He got a couple, but he tended to pull his headers, didn't he? A lot. Matip, he'd pull them and put too much angle on them and that. But he could get up. He's such a threat because of his size, Joe. But he'd pull his headers like a lot, wouldn't he? But Gomez never really. We didn't really have Joe in. When Joe was like Virgil's partner regularly, didn't really. He'd be left. Where are we leaving Joe on the halfway line when he was partnering Virgil from corners? Oh, I can't remember if he used to go into the box when he was Virgil's regular partner. It wasn't even that long ago, and I bloody forgot.
Joey would hang back, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. But Lovren was quite half decent, like from corners. Occasionally, Skirtle was brilliant. I used to love Skirtle's headers from corners. Where he'd get it like near post and glance it just perfectly. He was excellent at them, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No, it's interesting.
Definitely.
We're talking about Kwanzaa, and Kwanzaa is currently Kwanzaa is currently trending on Twitter. By the way, it's kind of interesting that we're bringing him up. But go ahead, Brian.
Why? What did Kwanzaa do?
Oh, I'm just saying. What's Kwanzaa doing?
Trending, or
just because of his
trending. He didn't get into
sports trending. It's saying, and it's like it just shows it tells you like who is trending, and Kwanzaa right now currently is trending because of his selection to be called up to England.
Oh, he did get called up. Oh, yeah. I missed that. I thought. Oh, did Kwanzaa get a call up?
It's looking like he did.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, I did miss it. Because I saw the Hendo. I saw the thing about Hendo and Rashford being left out. That people were kind of. I didn't realize
Kwanzaa looks like Kwanzaa, Trent, Gomez, and Jones are in the squad. That's what it's looking like. It's pretty big. Yeah.
No, fair play to Kwanzaa, but one thing I would say about we do have great memories of goals from corners, but there is data, and this is obviously this season has just ended. Okay, so and there has been a bit of an upturn this season, but before this season, and this is over 15 years, 1% of corners lead directly to a goal, as in directly, like as in corner, header, goal. 1%, 1 in 100 corners leads directly to a goal. So there is a big kind of there's a thing Jose Mourinho quote about England being the only country in the world that celebrates corners like their goals. Like it's just almost pointless basically. But we all have this idea that we should score more from corners. We should score more. It's incredibly rare to actually score. Corner taker, boom, curls it in, header meets it, goal. Incredibly rare. But because it's so incredibly rare, we remember them when they happen. So it doesn't overly bother me when we don't score them or what. It's just come up with a decent routine, keep the ball, win your second, whatever it is. But I don't overly criticize us for not being able to do it, because it just very rarely happens directly. Virgil should score more goals from corners. Should he though? Should he actually statistically? Probably not. No. Play him short, work out a routine, try something decent, try something new. But constantly just swinging him into the box, more often than not, nothing comes from it. So I do have
a question for you, or not a question, but somewhat of a statement. So it has been reported that Pep Linders, and this is like the whole like take if it doesn't work, you can take my salary quote comes from.
Oh, that terrible joke.
Pep Linders was apparently the one who fought for Trent to play in the midfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think that Arnie Slot will continue that effort and put Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield come this upcoming year? Do you think he should, or do you think he should just keep him? And this is not this is your opinion. This is just your opinion.
Lee,
do you have an opinion on that? Do you think that Arnie Slot should do it, or should he take up the mantle of what Pep Linders did, which Pep Linders gets a lot of like, you know, a lot of a stick for, you know, his impressions, you know, on this team, his influence on how the direction of this team went. And in the interview, he spoke on how he went to Jurgen and insisted that Trent should be a viable piece of that midfield, and that's why he had the adaptation. Do you think that Slot should continue that effort? And obviously, he has the final say, but do you think he should make it a permanent? Actually, that's a better way of putting it.
No, I prefer him to play right back in a flat back four. I felt he was at his best when we were playing a flat back four, and he was marauding forward and pinging crosses in. I do like him coming inside, but I don't like him staying inside. I preferred him in the preceding seasons when we didn't have the inverted shtick. You know, and I'm not a fan of it. Like, I mean, if Guardiola left this summer, I'd hope to not see it again in England for a while and just go back to flat back fours. Because I'm more comfortable that way. Like, we had three at the back when Evans was here, and it weren't a good period. Yeah.
Okay. So, same question to you, Brian.
Well, it's almost my trademark statement at this stage. Trent is a problem, and he is a solution. He is some player that any manager in the world would be delighted to have, delighted to take over a team that he's in, have both of them or whatever. But then when you sit there and you try and work at a team, you find out very, very quickly that it all becomes about him. It all becomes, and it starts with him. As much as they don't want to admit it, it's how do you fit him into your team? Because you can set up your team and then you can put Trent into it, and then everything changes because Trent is going to do Trent things. So any manager in the world would love a player of his ability, his quality, but then when they sit down with their team sheet and their tactics sheet, they realize everything has to revolve around him to a degree. He's always needed a minder. He's always needed a babysitter. Henderson was his first original minder. When he went forward from right back, Henderson dropped in, made a career out of it. Liverpool literally made a career out of it. Now, as everyone's talking about, Canate is having to do it from right back. That's what's putting all this pressure and all this strain on Canate, because he's having to do two man's role. Cover Trent and cover his position, because Trent is going doing Trent things. This to me is not a good thing, because we do get some good things out of it, which is Trent's passing and Trent's creativity, but we also got a hell of a lot of creativity and passing from Trent in a traditional right back role, whatever you want to call it, flat back four right back role. He broke Premier League assist records from right back. Right. Now, again, we don't play in that, high pressing, going out the wings. But I think, again, we talk about net negatives. I think this is a net negative, putting him in midfield. And this idea that he can do it on the ball, he needs space. What's one of his best attributes? Long passing. You can't long pass in a number 10 role, a number 8 role, the pitch. You can't do that. He's a quarterback. Crossing from wide, can't do that from the middle of the pitch. He's a quarterback. He's a wide player. You can't do that from a number 8 in the middle of the park and crowded out by top quality players who, by the way, Trent can be as good as he wants to be on the ball. But if you get about 0.7 seconds on the ball in a Premier League midfield, a European midfield, no, you're not going to have people aren't just going to stand off. Oh, go Trent, play your passes. No, he's shown before he can't handle pressure.
He's going to be attacked.
It's pop, pop.
Yeah.
10 yards, 5 yards, 2 yards, 5 yards. It's not about sitting back there seeing the whole pitch in front of you and pinging one 60 yards. He can't ping a ball 60 yards if he's playing the number 10 role or number 8 role. He can't bend one in from out wide. He can take his free kick. I don't understand this. This shit is crazy to me. Play inverted if you want, but not Trent. Trent needs to be sitting back deep with everything. He's a Joe Montana. He's a whatever you want to call it. He can ping it 60, 70 yards and break a team open like that. But to me, like I said, I'd love one of those alternate realities where we could just take 2 years out, right? And where we don't exist and just see. Because I think there's this idea that we can't play football without him. And I think he clutters up what we're trying to do. Again, one of our greatest ever players, one of the greatest talents out there, but it's weird. It makes us a jumble of a team sometimes. And I think if we just had more simple solutions, it might make things easier for us. But I'm never going to say that we're better off without him. But he's one of the most complicated things I've ever had to deal with as a Liverpool fan. The guy wrecks my head. He completely he completely wrecks my head. And I can only imagine what it's like for a manager. How the hell do I get this guy into my team and still make it a balanced team? Because I cannot drop this guy. How do you make it work?
I thought he looked best when the massive Van Dijk partnership was at its best and on its longest runs, where like Van Dijk and Massive played like every game together for like months on end. And when Trent was playing in that back four, then is when he looked his best to me. Which I don't know how many months ago it was or seasons ago it was, but it was a few seasons ago, and he looked outstanding in that right back role. And we kept a lot of clean sheets as well around that time. Like I think it was probably the season we won the league, where we were just keeping clean sheets, and he looked brilliant in that role as just as a fullback, bombing forward, like. And pinging it across to Robertson every like 5 minutes, like right onto Robbo's foot. It was just a delight to watch.
Those switches, those switches.
Yeah.
Left to right, Robbo bombing, Trent bombing, breaking. Like Robbo went toe to toe with Trent for the assist record. We were devastating playing like that. We were absolutely devastating. So I don't know, man. If Trent is there going, I want this, I don't think he is, but sometimes keeping it simple is the best thing. But
yeah, they keep it simple, stupid, right? We say or something like that.
Yeah,
certainly is the case.
Will he ever be more productive? Are we massaging his ego by allowing him to be, the guy? No one's bigger than the club. Like, I will never have anyone come up to a manager and I want to play in midfield. But fuck off, so I'm picking the team.
Right.
I see it. You just been so sparse, mate. You don't tell me where you play. I tell you where you play. Until I get sacked, I make the decision. And I might get sacked in 6 months, right? I might, right? But while I'm here, I'm the manager. I make the decision. The player power will destroy a club overnight. That's why Manchester United are where they are. Player power. They got 8 managers sacked. I remember they got rid of all of them. So we need and I'm not saying Trent will be a diva. He's not a diva, but he'll play where he's probably told to play. But
he'll play where he's told to play. I don't think he'll be a diva to a point where he'll be like he'll.
I don't think
he'd
be a player that has a preference. It's just like I want to be playing. I don't think he'd be arsey about like I want to play in midfield, not at right back. I don't think he'd be like that as a player. I think it's just whatever the manager asks him is what he's going to do, is what position he's going to play. I just wasn't a fan of it. The inverted thing for us, but we look loose at the back. I mean, how many clean sheets did we not keep this season? I mean, did we keep enough clean sheets to do one hand? Did we get 5 clean sheets? I can't remember. I'm talking about in the Prem.
No. Yeah. Well, yeah. No. Oh, in the Prem it has to be, because you know why? Because in that list, in the fan list, I think
he had loads of clean sheets, but in the last save,
he had at least 10 clean sheets. I think Ali had at least 10 clean sheets.
Jesus, even the worst teams scored against us. Every one of the worst shit teams scored against us, like Burnley, Luton.
Yeah, he had 8 clean sheets.
Clean sheet against bloody anyone that I can remember, hardly, not one. And that was just weren't good enough, like, you know what I mean? It just weren't good enough. And that's what
we were just showing up and giving him a goal and saying, right, it's 1-0 to ye, off we go. It was like that for about 4 months. It was like, right, it doesn't matter. Yeah, if you're Fulham, Sheffield United, right, 1-0 to right now, off we go. It just seemed like that for so long.
Well, you got a clean sheet. I mean, he must have had 7, I guess, clean sheets before the last game, because last game got a clean sheet. So, yeah, I think
everyone's forgotten about the Wolves game. Everyone has completely forgotten.
I know, everyone just completely glazed over that one. Like,
never happened.
Constance hasn't scored in a while. Ali hasn't gotten a clean sheet in a while. 73%, 8 clean sheets, 73% save percentage, and I'm sure Kelleher had at least 1 or 2 clean sheets in the Prem at one point.
We kept Everton out at Anfield, didn't we?
Yeah, but we didn't keep clean sheets in the games that mattered. This is the problem.
Yeah. I mean, like, technically, we had a clean sheet against Manchester United, for instance. But that's because it was a 0-0 draw, you know? So...
Remember Ten Hag said we had the best chances. I'm sure, it was a plural. He said we had the best chances in that 0-0. He also thinks he has the most exciting. He has one of the most exciting teams in the Prem too.
Yeah, I want to get access to Eric Ten Hag's phone number or his phone, because he's got some good contacts, because he's got some good pills. That guy, I don't know. He's walking out of fucking 4-0 defeats going, did you see that, lads? We were unbelievable. You see that? You see that? We were unbelievable. You see, it's just like, wow, like he's coming at this shit head on. I mean, he can't come out and go, it's just like, wow, okay, that's like, we're talking, I think we're one of the best teams in the league, and the last 4 games showed it. Like, you lost 3 and drew 1. He's like, yeah, we're unbelievable.
In the last 8 games, I think he had like 1 win. Yeah, he had 1 win in the last 8 games, or 1 or 2 wins in the last 8 games, or something ridiculous.
I know he beat Newcastle, but apart from that, I don't remember them having many wins. Like, it was like. Do
you think Eddie Howe keeps his job? By the way, Lee.
Tough one. I haven't thought about Newcastle much for a while, but.
I mean, they're going backwards. I mean, they go from they had Champions League. Yeah. Now they're looking at again. I'd have to look. Let me double check on that for you too. 7th. Okay, thank you.
I'd have to say, given that they finished nowhere for the last God knows how long since they last had a half decent side that could even get into Europe, given the length of time it's been since they were able to play in Europe, surely that's a success that he got them in the Champions League, just like Emery this season. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why they would have to sack him, like, really.
But, I mean, like, do you think that's... Yeah, he's just not that guy, though. Like, you're talking about Champions League. That's great that he got him Champions League, but you want to retain Champions League. You want to be able to, like, not only retain it, you want to go far in Champions League as well, you know, and getting knocked out. I mean, they got knocked out before the knockout stage.
Yeah, he probably will go. Actually, now that I think about it properly, I think he will go. I think he probably will. I was saying that a while ago.
They want a Rolls Royce in the drive league. They want now again, he's finished, so I don't mean to say, but they want a Mourinho. They want an Ancelotti. They don't want.
I'd put good odds on him being the first high profile. Well, when I say high profile, I mean of the clubs that are up and have had money lately and that, like, and
but they won't go for those boys because they'll go for the new up and coming manager because they're doing the coach thing as well. So they're going to want, like, again, Eddie Howe. It would be they'll want a Nagelsmann, not an Eddie Howe. They'll want a Christ. You see, this is the thing. Who are these guys? We've been talking about it all night. There are no managers. They're all young coaches.
Yeah.
But for their project, Eddie Howe is nobody outside of Eddie Howe's family and Newcastle knows who Eddie Howe is, and that's not what Newcastle are about. That is just not what they're about. It's a cool, good job, but Eddie's sitting there going, I mean, it's only a matter of time before they.
Yeah, I think I was almost forgetting just what a rush they will be in to get somewhere like their new owners. So, yeah, I'd say he was one of the best candidates for, like, going the first, like, for going like before the summer's barely even underway. I think.
Well, like, he doesn't have pull for play. He doesn't have a pull. There's nobody out there going.
Yeah, there's no one out there going to play for Eddie Howe. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I always grew up hoping one day, I would end up 5 miles north of the Scottish border in a freezing cold town, surrounded by lunatics with their tops off, playing for Eddie Howe. Growing up in the favela in Rio de Janeiro, it wasn't Bayern or Real Madrid or Barcelona or Inter Milan I dreamed of. It was freezing my tits off in Newcastle, playing for a guy that looks like the Monkey Bar Kid. I mean, no, that just never happened. No, they need.
Yeah. I have a question for you. I have an interesting question for you. We can extrapolate on this on another episode more, but there has been an argument, and this is something that was brought out in a conversation on I forget what channel it was, but it was brought up. Do you think that do you think Pep was a net positive or a net negative for
Linders or Guardiola?
Yes, Pep.
Linders.
Yes.
Oh, Guardiola. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Do you think, because the argument is that ever since Pep, he's a phenomenal coach, absolutely incredible coach, and all the same, but because of his dominance, with the help of obviously what the city and the organization does for him, do you think that it's similar to what the kind of concept of what they were saying in Germany, in essence? Is Pep being in England a positive or a negative for the Premier League? I'll allow for Lee, or actually, I'll let Irishman. Irishman, you want to take this one first?
Yeah.
Or Lee, go ahead, Lee.
Go ahead, Lee.
I thought he was a positive, like, and he has been a positive. Although I've become touchy about him, like, with all this FFP stuff lately. I mean, we knew a while ago about the FFP stuff, but while it was going on, our battle with City, where it was neck and neck for, like, however many seasons it was them two together made the Premier League what it has been in the last however many years. And all right, other teams have been in it and that, but it was them two specifically going at it head to head, wasn't it, that made the league so attractive over the last few years. So yeah, he's been a positive, like, and it has been a good thing in football terms, like. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
definitely. Okay. Brian,
I disagree. It's just, I'd have a different opinion. I think what's happened is a net negative, because what's happened is it's allowed City to kind of wield their dominance to a degree, because sport is still sport. Yeah. People talk about Guardiola getting handed, the Barcelona job and all that, getting handed You know, Lionel Messi will tell you that Guardiola refined him as a player. You know, refined what one of the greatest talents of all time. You know, he's handed these jobs. You can hand me and you the job, man. You can give me and you the job, and we could go into Liverpool tomorrow as joint managers. We're getting sacked in 3 weeks because we're not up to the job. We're not. You can't just get handed a job. You have to go in there and like get these players to Xavi Alonso, Tony Cruz. The list is endless. The people who've listened to him and taken on board what he's told them to do. He's an incredible manager, clearly. But to me, he gave City this kind of silver bullet where they took every kind of sporting jeopardy out of it that they could, as much as they could with their money. You know, but they can, you know, again, yeah, Leicester can still win a fucking league, right? Even, but you know, more often than not, you spend the money, you get the best of the best of the best of the best of the best, and you're raising your chances of winning to 98%. So to me, again, this is not a slight on Pep, but for me, it was bad for the Premier League that they brought in basically, you know, the final piece of their jigsaw, which made them almost unbeatable to a degree. But again, that's down to his genius as a coach. But also the other net negative that I think that has happened is his coaching style, which has kind of been allowed to foster at City because he's been allowed to buy a load of number 10s and number 8s and, you know, play Guardiola as a left winger, has kind of allowed this style that he's wanted to create to pervade the game, which is this very highly tactical.
With all the center backs and everything. Yeah.
Very highly mechanical, like all, it's not just him, but the flair has been taken out of the game. You know, the individuality has been taken out of the game. It's all systems. Everyone stands here. You see him out on the training pitch. Like those clips you see aren't a joke. They're not like, he literally will be playing an 11-a-side game. He'll blow a whistle and he'll walk out onto the pitch. He'll grab a centre midfielder. He'll turn them 6 inches, move them 4 inches, and say, "You should have been standing there." And he'll stop a game to tell someone that. Thierry Henry tells a story. Thierry Henry tells a story about when he was at Barcelona. Thierry Henry, for God's sake, right? Cuts in off the left wing, takes on a guy, passes the ball to Messi in a Champions League quarterfinal, semi-final, something like that, a big game. Cuts inside, Messi scores, right? To put them 1-0 up. Lovely bit of combination. Half time, Guardiola takes Henry off. And he says, "I told you to stay wide. Why did you go inside?" And he's like, "Boss, we scored." He says, "I told you to stay wide. I'm taking you off at halftime to Thierry Henry because he showed some individuality." And they scored. He said, "I told you to stay wide. I did not tell you to go inside." He took him off. And Henry tells that as a story about how great he is. That's like a road. That's like Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, you go exactly where I tell you to go. You do not go anywhere else. To it.
Not many managers have that kind of stature to be able to
imagine Roy Hodgson doing that to Henry. Henry punches him in the face and demands a move the next day. Henry is like, "This guy's a genius." I mean, it's like, but it's where's the flair? Where's the individuality? You know, it's all gone now. You move there, you move there, you move there. And that's the next net negative to me that Guardiola has brought in, because this City unlimited money has allowed him to create that team, which is unwatchable. It's unwatchable.
Yeah.
It's just pass, win, pass, win. Even the City fans are yawning in the stand. Four in a row, is it, lads? Sure, you may as well watch that Jurgen Klopp thing. We've won, you know. And one point I wanted to make was that, you know, the Jurgen Klopp being watched more than them, even though they've won the league. One caveat to that is, they've won 4 in a row. I guarantee you that even if that was their first title win, more people would have been watching the Klopp thing.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not the biggest draw, are they? for like opposition fans. A lot of opposition fans swerve their games, don't they? Like, whereas you'll watch ours, a bit more exciting for them. Like, yeah, I give him the thumbs up for the rivalry with Klopp. That was the bit I enjoyed. Them two going head to head. A lot of the rest of it has been tedious, like in some of the things he's done and the precedents that have been set while he's been here. But,
yeah.
Well, what can you do?
What can you do? Well, I thought I'd bring it up as our last final point. But as you can see, happier days. There are some happier days in our as our memories, as shown in the picture there. Beautiful picture, by the way. Absolutely beautiful sight right there.
The Liver building. That's the Liver building on the Merseyside dock.
Yep. Yep. Parade going by right down before it. Big up to you all in the chat for joining us today. It's been a 3-hour ride, but it's been an enjoyable 3-hour ride. It went by very fast. So,
great for drop in. Nice one, man. That was brilliant.
Cheers, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, mate. Welcome. Enjoyed myself. I've seen you. It was good to catch you up.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys joining us. We're going to be we already landed the plane, but we're going to be letting you guys go on to your final destinations if this isn't the final destination for you. But we will be back tomorrow. We'll definitely be back tomorrow. Lee, is there anything you want to say? Any shout out or anything you want to say before we let the people do their thing?
No, just cheers to everyone who sent comments in and that, like, and what we were just working off, like the comments people sent in. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, I enjoyed this. It was good. That was a good laugh.
Cool.
It's been a sad one on it, like last week. A lot of people were very emotional, weren't they, about the end bit? I managed to be emotional earlier on before he left about his leaving. Managed to be emotional then, not to the state of blubbering, like, but I was upset, like, and it has been a wild ride and a really enjoyable one, like 9 years. And it was great from the beginning, like, because he just took to it like a duck to water, didn't he? The way he came in, fist pumps and celebrating with the crowd, having his glasses knocked off, just being enthusiastic on the sidelines in a way which just endears him to you totally. So yeah, he was the man, money for 9 years, and we got a new one now. We have a new man in charge.
Yeah, new man in charge. Brian, any parting words for you as well?
No, I also just want to say to everyone in the chat, it's been brilliant. Great comments all night. Really, like, there's a lot of different people in there tonight. And we never do this, and it's like, we're just literally the worst in the world. We never do the whole subscribe, like thing. But yeah, if you haven't liked it, like it. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. But yeah, that's all. Yeah. And we're not any big milestone, but we're probably like 5 short of something. So if 5 people did something, we probably hit something. So that'd be cool. But yeah, keep trying. Just keep coming in every night, 7:30, somewhere around that. There'll be something good going on.
As long as the hour hand says 7, try to give a look. Try to definitely give a look for us as well. Lee, definitely, before, I don't know if you saw the private chat, Lee, but definitely stick around even after the broadcast ends. But yes, definitely appreciate everyone joining again. And as always, one of the things I always try to emphasize is for you to all continue to take care of yourselves. Be sure to take care of your own mental health and your own physical health. It's very important that you do so, but also recognize and realize that, you are not alone out there. You'll never walk alone is certainly more than a motto or, a branding or whatever you want to reference it as. It's something I think that we should all embody and take on. So therefore, when you do find company, you might find some support that, that was maybe lacking in your life, and it's important. And as always, if you can't find that, reach out to someone in the professional attribute or something along those lines to get that help, because it's important that you make this walk with us. So with that said, hey, a lot of fun things coming this summer. We got our coach locked up. We've got a bunch of stuff that's going to be going on. We're going to be bringing in some. We got a quiz coming up. We got the DeLorean. We got a DeLorean in the garage that we can always go back and check out a lot of these throwback games and such. So hey, just because the season technically has come to a close doesn't mean that the fun has to end. So appreciate every one of you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. And as always, up the Reds, man. Up the Reds. All right, peace.